Trump has some ideas about repurposing the billions in federal grants initially earmarked for Harvard University.
The president said he's considering taking $3 billion of previously awarded grant money for scientific and engineering research away from Harvard University and giving it to trade schools. Writing on social media, he said it would be a great investment for the country.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Claiming progress in nuclear talks with Iran, the president suggests a significant announcement could be coming soon.
I can tell you the Iran talks have been going very well. I'd love that to happen because I'd love to see no bombs dropped and a lot of people dead. I really would like to see that happen, and I think there's a good chance that it could happen.
Mr. Trump insists Iran halt uranium enrichment, but last we heard that's something that Tehran steadfastly refuses to do. 3 more inmates captured following a New Orleans jailbreak earlier in the month.
Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill announced on social media Monday night that Linton Van Buren was recaptured in Baton Rouge. Minutes later, WDSU reported Jermaine Donald and Leo Tate were caught in Walker County, Texas. 8 of the 10 inmates have now been recaptured since they broke out of the New Orleans Justice Center on May 16th. Several people have been arrested for helping the escapees.
Correspondent Tasha Stevens. British police holding a 53-year-old man. He was allegedly driving the minivan that plowed into a group of spectators at a parade in Liverpool, England. Dozens injured in what police say was not a terrorist attack, although we don't know exactly why it happened. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures up 471 points. NASDAQ futures 285 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
There were disruptions and there were arrests during an annual march through Jerusalem, marking Israel's capture of the eastern part of the city during the 1967 war.
When the young men go through Damascus Gate in East Jerusalem, they go through the Muslim quarter towards the Western Wall, and they, as has happened before today, they was provoking, attacking some of the Arab shop owners. They had to close up early because of the danger. So the police did step in quite early and arrest some people, and other more secular Israeli political leaders condemned the violence. But it was a very emotional but a very big parade through Jerusalem.
The BBC's Wira Davies. A new aid system in Gaza has opened its first distribution hubs in the territory. That, according to a U.S.-backed group that is taking over the handling of supplies. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is backed by Israel and the United States, but it has been rejected by the UN. News and analysis, townhall.com. When President Trump speaks, monarchs respond. Mr. Trump's talk about Canada as America's 51st state as Britain's King Charles set to address the Canadian Parliament.
Given a royal welcome on the tarmac at Ottawa Airport, King Charles III and Queen Camilla arrived on a visit that Canada's leader says will underscore his nation's sovereignty. Trump's repeated suggestion that the U.S. annex Canada prompted Prime Minister Carney to invite Charles to give the speech Tuesday from the throne. The King is the head of state in Canada, which is a member of the British Commonwealth of former colonies. Carney says the visit speaks to the vitality of Canada's constitutional monarchy and its distinct identity. I'm Karen Shamas.
Hong Kong politicians talking about a panda economy. The city is touting its first locally born giant pandas, hoping they'll unleash a tourism boom. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to a morning without Mike Winters. I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. No, Mixmaster Mike Winters is heading to the doctor once again. I'm start calling him Gary Laser Eyes because he's getting his eyes lasered up again. I think this is just another follow-up just to make sure that the initial lasering went well and that everything is healing up properly. I like to imagine it's basically that Family Guy Star Wars scene where they got, I think it's Han as an eye doctor, and he's using his lightsaber. Or no, I'm sorry, it's Luke using his lightsaber. I know, Star Wars fans, come at me. And Leia walks in, he slips, and the lightsaber goes completely through his patient's head. Let's hope none of that happens to Mixmaster Mike today, because we need him back in studio for tomorrow morning's show. And if all things go according to plan, we will have Mixmaster Mike back in the captain's chair tomorrow morning, right where he belongs. But in the meantime, you got me, at least for part of the morning. See, I'll explain when we get to the rundown coming up here in just a few minutes. Happy Tuesday morning. I know post-Memorial Day, everybody's going to have a case of the Mondays. I have very much felt like it was Mondays several times. In fact, my whole weekend schedule was off because yesterday I was treating so much like Sunday that I was looking for the Sunday programming that I usually watch. And I'm like, oh, wait, it's Monday, huh? And then I found Monday Night Raw, and all was right with the world. But happy post-Memorial Day. Hopefully your Memorial Day weekend went smoothly. Got to say a big, big congratulations to the class of 2025. All the graduations going off without a hitch. You really couldn't ask for better weather. You couldn't ask for better conditions. And just lots and lots of smiling faces, loud noises, and confetti happening at the Wool Bowl over the earlier part of the weekend. But congratulations to the class of 2025. Y'all did it, and it's sort of like how when you level up in a video game, how I've got all these resources, all this money, and then you level up and you're like, oh, son of a gun, I don't have any of those resources anymore. They all have those resources now. I have to go get them. So yeah, you leveled up, but now real game starts, kids. What are we going to do from here? But the world is your oyster, and congratulations to the class of 2025. Hopefully everybody had a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. Taking a chance yesterday, obviously, to take some time to think about our fallen soldiers, the ones we lost, the ones who paid the ultimate sacrifice, because that is what Memorial Day really is and should be about. And the interesting thing is trying to explain stuff like that to my kids. Now, granted, they're getting older, but they're still very young. My son is 6, but he's very knowledgeable of the world. He's taught me things that I didn't know about our solar system and about the universe. So it's kind of crazy. But my daughter, you kind of have to explain concepts to her in a more abstract way. We'll just call it. So you kind of had to go over what it is and what Memorial Day was, and we talked about some fallen soldiers, and I went through and showed her some of the more famous famous soldiers who have made that sacrifice, and I think that she got a better understanding of it. That being said, it's kind of hard to gauge, but hopefully you took some time to the reason for the season, as they say, to honor and think about those folks who paid the ultimate sacrifice. But in addition, it's also the unofficial start of summer, which is kind of ironic because the week before the unofficial start to summer has been the most summertime feeling time that we've had in the foreseeable past. But buckle up because it's cloudy, it's overcast this morning, and it's going to stay this way for pretty much the entire week. We're staring down the barrel of at least a 20% chance of rain pretty much the entire week, but that gets bumped up as the week rolls along. We'll have your weather forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. But it is just kind of ironic. Grilling season is underway. I know a lot of outdoor activities are planned. We actually had an outdoor get-together yesterday that ended. I mean, we were planning on ending it around the same time, but the storm rolled in, and it sort of just ended things for us. But hopefully you got to a safe space yesterday, actually, after the storm, because that was quite the crazy storm that rolled through. I was looking at some pictures on Facebook, and some folks were posting up. I guess they were out either out west of town or up north. I'm not real sure. But they were posting pictures of their broken windshields. I guess the hailstorm was so bad in certain areas that, it was breaking windshields and causing all sorts of vehicle damage. So hopefully your vehicles are okay. Hopefully all your pets, your plants, everything it made it through the storm, it weathered it. But brace for more of the same because we got a chance for the wet stuff pretty much all this week. Again, we'll get into your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. But that being said, happy Tuesday. Good luck not feeling like it's Monday all day today because I have definitely already had my Monday modes at least a couple of times and had to remind myself, oh no, it is in fact Tuesday. That's good news, right? I mean, the week is already like 1/5 of the way out of the way. So that is good news. But that being said, it's going to feel like a Monday, folks, but that's all right because we're going to make it through. Hey, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes at about 7:15 or so, going to have Miss Peggy Boland from Camp Invention. And this is it. This is the final crunch because it goes down next week. It starts this time next week. So if you're not ready for it, it's going to come up real quick. So we'll talk with Miss Peggy coming up here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15 or so, we're going to replay the interview that Mike had last week with Miss Crystal Noble from the Roswell Humane Society, talking about getting ready for the summertime season, obviously with the temps on the rise, not this week, but with the temps on the rise. We want to talk about what times are appropriate to walk your animals, talk about the adoption process, and all that good stuff. So we'll replay that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Then in the 9 o'clock hour, around 9:15 or so, Mike had a great interview with Miss Madi Manchego and Sue Steed from Tai Chi for Health. It's a great organization, a great work that Miss Madi does, and she brings her students in to kind of give their testimonial. So we'll replay that coming up here in just a few minutes as well. Plus, of course, all of your hourly features, which include news, local varieties, national variety, Kim Commando Report, Wall Street Business Update, and whatever else comes our way on this Tuesday. But with that in mind, let us pause, take a moment, and take a look at your local weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A few clouds today, but some sunshine as well. We still have a low-pressure system and stationary front off to our east, so we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. We'll be in the mid-80s today. Maybe a shower overnight, low 60s, and then a little bit better chance of rain on Wednesdays. Scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, and a mix of sun and clouds with mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Stephen. Currently, it is 58 degrees around Roswell Way, mostly cloudy. Humidity is about 70%. Winds out of the north at about 10 miles an hour. The barometer at 30.14 inches with a dew point of 48 degrees. As mentioned there a moment ago, we are looking at the very least, we're looking at cooler temps, and that I will never complain about because last week It was downright unmanageable. It was not a fun time. I think we hit 103 on Saturday, actually. That was the moment I was like, okay, kids, get your suits. We're going to the pool. I don't care if we have to wait in line. We're going to the pool. You know what? We went to the pool, and it was awesome. But we are staring down isolated showers and thunderstorms after 3 p.m. today, otherwise mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny with a high of around 83 degrees, winds out of the northeast at around 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming south later in the afternoon. Your chance of rain is at around 20% for today. For tonight, isolated showers and thunderstorms before midnight, mostly cloudy, a low of around 60. Southwest winds 5 to 15, becoming southeast in the evening. Chance of precip is 20%. Tomorrow, that gets bumped up to a 30% chance of rain with scattered showers and thunderstorms afternoon. Some of those storms could be severe, mostly sunny, a high of around 86 degrees. Winds out of the south 5 to 15. Again, that chance of rain 30%. I do feel like I need to say this, though. Saying a storm is severe does not mean tornado, okay? That's mostly for my daughter's sake. I had to have a whole conversation with her yesterday about how a severe thunderstorm isn't a tornado. Let's all just calm down. She tends to jump to conclusions. Again, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday night. 20% chance of rain continues into your Thursday, a high of around 87 degrees. That 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight on Thursday night, and a low of around 63. And like I said, continued chances of rain at around 20% all the way through next Monday. So plan accordingly, kids. It's not necessarily going to rain that whole time, but it is at least going to be a little cooler, a lot cloudier, and, well, the potential is definitely there. Let us pause for just a moment. I need to take a look at something here. Hopefully we can make this work. Yep. Okay, let's take a quick break. And on the other side of these, we'll be sitting down chit-chatting with Miss Peggy Bolin from Camp Invention on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
A bedroom is a quiet escape where I go for peace and comfort. This is Melanie at Glenn's Furniture. I know how important the most private room in your home is for your life and the lives of your family. That's why we offer a selection of bedroom groups that make living easier and more comfortable. Modern designs, bold curves, and stylish fabrics elevate your bedroom space. You'll find your new set easy to sleep on and even easier to own. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Attention Goddard Rocket fans! When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits that you thought possible. The new 2024 Honda Ridgeline Passport and Pilot, part of the Roswell Honda Rugged Trail Sport lineup. Roswell Honda, proud supporter of all Goddard High School sports.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Camp Invention, wearing her Camp Invention hat this morning, Miss Peggy Bolin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Surprisingly calm, cool, and collected. I'm loving the weather outside.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
I love overcast weather.
Yes.
It's the time that I can actually get stuff done without dying of heat stroke.
Yes. Now, I could have gone without the hail yesterday.
That's true. It was pretty devastating in some areas.
Yeah, and my poor tiny plants that I had just, my little flowers that are just coming up. I'm like, no.
And it's funny you mentioned that too, because we just had the folks from Roswell Seed come in and basically said they dropped the flag. Now's planting season. Get it all in the ground. So, well, you can't plan for every situation.
No, and hopefully that's it for the hail for a while.
The storm, the chances are low at about 20 to 30%. Now, I know this is where my science hat has to go on. It's not a 20% chance of rain. It's a chance that 20% of the area that they survey will have rain. That's how I understand it. But, again, it could be raining anywhere at any point in time in Chavez County. We'll see what happens.
Right.
You look surprisingly calm considering we're in the eye of the storm. Literally 1 week away, today, 1 week away from the start of Camp Invention 2025. How are things going?
Not too bad.
Yeah?
Not too bad. Yeah, all the boxes came in.
Awesome.
Everything came in. 31 boxes.
Holy moly.
So, camp may be, have a price to it, but there's a reason. I mean, the 31 boxes had these are the shirts this year, which is really cool. I love the color purple. It's a deep purple, a yay.
Because last year's was the blue, right? Yeah. And that blue, it looked good on Hunter, but I'd love to see him in a purple.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
the purple shirt, every camper gets a purple shirt.
Nice.
And all the staff get a purple shirt. And so, like I said, everything came in. We did the inventory. We're excited. It's going to be an awesome camp. So
I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm curious, was there any concern? Because now I know I'm not gonna go there, but I know there's been a lot of issues with like empty ports and like things getting shipping delays and things like that. Were you guys worried about any of that or dealing with any of that?
Nope.
That's
it
awesome.
came on time.
Awesome.
And it was delivered on. Everything was perfect.
Everything comes from the actual USPTO and the Inventors Hall of Fame. Like, so it comes from that organization straight to you guys.
Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. So we've unpacked the boxes.
Yep.
We're ready to roll. Now, for those who don't know, because we're talking like crafty veterans, but for those who don't know, and if you don't know, you need to start listening to the show more honestly. Tell the folks what Camp Invention is and your involvement with it.
So Camp Invention is probably one of the best STEM camps in the United States. It is a national camp, over 1,400 in the nation. They're all over the place. I just happen to be the director in Roswell. This STEM camp does everything from building the students' confidence to creativity to problem solving to teamwork to, of course, inventing. It's everything rolled up in one.
Right.
One big camp.
Camp Invention is kind of a misnomer because it's camp creation, it's camp creativity, it's camp
problem solving. It's camp
problem solving. It's camp entrepreneurship.
Yes.
There's so many facets and aspects that get worked into this camp, and I love it. We'll talk about the modules coming up here in just a minute. But the best part about it is that and this is something that I think that I love most about Camp Invention is you guys really have worked hard to incorporate the A into STEAM, because for so long it was all about the big brain learning, and the creativity kind of got shuffled to the wayside.
Right.
But I think that our best learning comes from creativity. It comes from when we sit down and we work with our hands and we just play with something and see what we can make of it. And that's one of my favorite parts about Camp Invention is that you guys incorporate the arts into the science, the technology, the engineering, and the math, or the maths, as they say across the pond. But this is your 17th year, I believe. 18th?
I believe so.
Wow,
I've been doing it forever.
For a good long while. Now I know we're keeping camp low. The attendance
75 is our top, but we still have spots. I'm excited to let the listeners know that if they have not signed up their child or grandchildren or friends or whatever for Camp Invention, we have spots. Awesome. And we also still have scholarship money, which I thought that'd be all gone.
Yeah,
it's not all gone. We still have some, and I can still help some people in a nice way.
Sure. And of course, the way it works with partial scholarships is essentially we want to make sure that parents still have some skin in the game, because as AOL learned valuably in the late 90s and early 2000s, if you give somebody a free CD, it's not going to be worth jack squat,
True.
So you have to have some skin in the game, but we definitely want to make sure that these modules and that this learning is accessible to every kid. We want that's of utmost importance. So space is still available, even though we're keeping the class size low, which again, I love that because that means more attention for the students themselves,
right?
For the actual campers,
right?
And that means that they can learn the concepts a little more broadly rather than what do you have? Okay, cool. Now what do you have? And that gets hectic. So it's great that we're keeping the attendance low, but space is still available. Now, the camp runs, real quick, the camp runs next week. It starts June 2nd through the 6th, and that is going to be at the All Saints Catholic School. It is going to be held at the All Saints Catholic School. They're graciously letting Camp Invention use the building. So it's going to be held there, no influence or anything like that. This is all about Camp Invention. But again, next week, June 2nd through the 6th, from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and you do have available slots for before and after available as well for folks who need some extra time, correct?
Yes. So there is an extended day time from 7:30 to 5:30, and that's like perfect. As an example, if somebody's driving to work right now and saying, gosh, I couldn't do 9 to 3:30 because, I leave the house at 7 or 7:15. We open our doors at 7:30 for those who sign up for extended day. And, parents who work till 5, we're there until 5:30 if need be.
Right.
And so that's perfect for the working parent. It only costs $100 more for the entire week, which isn't bad. Now, partial scholarships won't cover that.
Sure.
But it can sure help for the rest of the camp.
And that's obviously to cover the extra time that we need for the folks who are the instructors, the extra resources that are being used to take care of the kids for that before and after time. So that money obviously can't be eaten up with scholarships. We need that as revenue.
Right, and we actually have in our 31 boxes there is a big bag that's filled with just materials for extended day.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
And so it's really nice. And so I encourage parents who are going, I just can't figure this my schedule out and everything. We got you covered.
See, that's awesome, because in my head when I hear extended learning, it's let me run on my computer, print off a couple of activity sheets, slap it down in front of the kid and be like, have fun. But the fact that the organization itself has taken into consideration the extra learning time and included additional resources. So if you sign your kids up for that extra time, they're getting even more out of the camp than, the regular campers.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I'm excited about this year. I mean, this year, you should see, there's little penguins, there's so many circuits, and oh man, there's so much they're going to learn.
There's a lot of moving parts that go into these modules, and we'll run them down coming up here in just a few minutes. But that's the thing and I'm speaking from experience from last year. My son going every day, he came home with this new thing that he learned, this new idea, this new concept, and it woke his mind up. And since then, he's been. So at the book fair this last school year, I bought him this book about space, and it's just all about different planets and dwarf stars and all this different stuff. And he read it cover to cover.
Nice.
He knows stuff about space that I've never even thought of before. So it really opens your kids' minds up to learn, because this is that sponge phase. This is where their brains are hungry. I literally had the thought yesterday. I'm like, I love this. I love watching him be excited to learn. I know that's going to go away, but I want to soak it in while it's here.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't ever have to go away, but kids tend to, their minds tend to drift to other things.
As they get older and older.
Sure. But right now, he's ready to soak up every ounce of whatever anybody's willing to give him. So, which is dangerous.
It's true.
We've had some arguments already about some deep theological arguments I've had with my 6-year-old.
Right.
But let's run down the modules real quick. Let's talk about there's 4 different programs. Now every day the kids are going to get a little bit of each program. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just like one day devoted to one thing, one day devoted to the next. It's like they're going to different classes almost, and that again is keeping their minds moving.
Right, and that's true.
Awesome. So let's run down the 4 that we're going to have this year.
All right, the first one's called Claw Arcade, and campers unleash nature-inspired creativity to make their own claw machines with unique prizes, then give a confidence-boosting pitch to hook investors.
See, this is already off the bat one of my favorite things, because not only are they working in the ideas of inventing, of how does this mechanism work,
yes,
but they're thinking of ways to make it their own, to make it valuable to as a product, and then so you're learning entrepreneurship skills, and there's just so many different facets that can be pulled from all of these different places. So that is an awesome module. I'm very excited about that one.
Right. The next one is Penguin Launch. I mentioned the penguins already. Campers team up for an eco expedition as they investigate Antarctica with a robotic assistant, then design launchers to propel plush penguins across snowy landscapes.
That's going to be fun. My kid loves shooting stuff at stuff.
Right. And these are cool because they're magnetic.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, if they're going to, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Now, they're so cute.
I remember last year, it was almost unbearable to even go outside. So the kids didn't really have a lot of outdoor playtime. This year, it sounds like if, old man weather works with us a little bit, it sounds like we might actually have some cooler temps and more opportunity for some outside activity. Because, thinking about the idea of launching penguins during last year's camp convention, that's crazy. Any self-respecting penguin would be thousands of miles away from us at that point. But I think it might work a little better with the cooler temps. Having some more outdoor time should help a lot. So definitely looking forward to that one as well.
And I want to mention the games and lunch. So lunch is not provided this year, but snacks are. And half the campers head outside to play action-packed games while the others eat lunch, and then they switch.
Okay.
So you have like the younger kids eating their lunch first because their tummies are smaller.
Sure.
And then they switch. They go outside and they play. And there's all sorts of games out there that I have somebody who's done this for years, and she enjoys doing the games outside.
And I love when my kids learn new games because, so for a while, and it's kind of past, but for a while, both my kids were really heavy into the show Bluey. And they had this episode called Shadowlands, where the game was they could only walk on places where there were shadows.
Oh, nice.
And they worked this game in real life when they were at the playground. So they had to make it from one side of the playground to the other, but only using the shadow parts. And so it was really fun to watch them kind of be creative and okay, move that over here so I have and teamwork and stuff. And so that kind of creativity is awesome. But so while they're playing the games, the other kids will be having their lunch, and then vice versa. So don't worry, kids will be fed, but we just got to make sure to pack some lunches for them every day. Snacks will be provided, of course, but just throw them a lunch. It'll be a good thing.
Okay, so then another module is called In Control. This one, I love traveling. I love taking trips. So this one kind of, if I were to teach, this would probably be mine. Campers take the driver's seat on the ultimate road trip as they design a custom control panel and navigate their journey with help from GPS and AI tools.
So
that's cool.
It's kind of like setting up your own, not only your own vehicle, but also using technology and the tools of today to navigate that. So it's kind of fun for those trend or the ones who want to see the open road and see the world around them. That's a really cool opportunity. But I do have to say, I saw something over the weekend that genuinely struck fear into my heart.
What is that?
Have you seen the videos that are coming out for the new AI video model VEO3?
Okay.
No. So usually when you're watching an AI video, they're chock full of these weird hallucinations. They can't spell stuff right, and it's obviously uncanny valley. So I'm watching these videos. The lip sync, the movements of the people, it is so true to life that it is terrifying. I'll find a video and I'll send you a link, but it's terrifying how close they're getting. And like they say, it's as bad as it's ever going to be again right now.
Right.
So that's scary that we're feeding the machine. But that being said, it's also a very powerful tool that we can use if we use it the right way.
Right.
And that's what this is about, is utilizing AI, utilizing GPS in a way that's beneficial.
Right. So exactly.
So we'll worry about that when the robot overlords come for us. But for right now, let's we can plan a trip.
All right. So the last one is called Illusion Workshop.
Okay.
This one seems really cool. When they explore the science behind special effects, campers uncover optical illusions in movies, art, and animation before building their own moving props.
So it's sort of like the magic of cinema, the movie magic, which is fascinating. I follow this guy on YouTube. His channel is called Scott Prop and Roll. He's a props master, and he shows how different items work that you never even think about. Like, for example, grocery bags. When you see a paper grocery bag in a film or a TV show, if you used a regular paper sack, it's going to make so much noise. The mics are going to pick it up. You won't pick up dialogue.
Right.
So they develop these essentially vinyl grocery bags that look, they have the no shine on them, so they look like paper bags, and they're used in that function. Same thing with chip bags, different things like that make crinkle. When you hear footsteps in movies, and that's kind of where my fascination is the art of Foley, of working in sound effects and kind of playing with it and seeing what sound goes where the best, and making it happen in your head. And there's a lot of magic that goes into cinema. So this is definitely one of those projects that I think is going to awaken kids' creativity.
Yes.
Hopefully in all the right ways, because some of that creativity gets scary.
Yes, that's true.
My kids know the entirety of the Lava Chicken song from the Minecraft movie, and it bothers me. It really bothers me. But that being said, so it's going to be a fantastic camp. And again, this is an all-day thing. Your kids are going to be chock full of knowledge. And here's the other thing. You're going to pick them up, and they're going to tell you everything they learned that day. Grab a pen and paper, and take some notes, because this is valuable stuff. They'll forget it. You might want to remember this stuff. So,
right.
So it's a great experience, and your kids will be better off for it, absolutely. And again, this is next week. It starts June 2nd, but space still is available. So if you if you want to get your kids involved, or if you're already enrolled, or you have your kids enrolled in Camp Invention, and you want to get their friends, or maybe some folks in your family involved, there are still partial scholarships available. We want to get as many of those kids in as we can, while still respecting the capacity. So
right.
So please,
but I did want to mention. What did I want to mention? So it's $290 before discount.
Yes.
So, like I said, if $290 is not feasible, that's where I come in.
Mm-hmm.
And they can call me at 575-420-9955. And I'm available pretty much 24/7. I mean, I do walk away from my phone at 10 p.m., but
that's when you should.
But like I said, I'm available. I want to make sure everybody can get in camp who wants to. I do have some pretty good scholarships out there. I just want to make sure everybody can.
Absolutely.
They can go online, doinvent.org, or just Google Camp Invention if you're curious about it. And you will see all the modules. There's little YouTube videos on each module so that you can see what your son or daughter would be doing.
Okay, very cool.
I mean, I've helped people with 3 children get to camp.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And so that's what I'm saying. If there's families that have a lot of children, I can still help. I had a woman who fosters kids. I said, give me a call. I can help you too. So I don't want anybody to feel as though, no, $290. I would be embarrassed to ask for money.
It hits the ear a little painfully.
It does.
But when you call and you talk to Miss Peggy, she will lighten your load. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I offered to pay an amount, and she took $20 off of that because she heard hesitance in my voice when I offered what I was going to pay. She knocked $20 extra off, and I felt so much better. I don't know why $20 made that much difference, but it set my mind at ease. So thank you for that, by the way. I hope my card went through.
It did.
But if you want to get signed up, you can go through invent.org. But I recommend, and if you need some assistance, it would absolutely behoove you to get a hold of Miss Peggy for more info or to get signed up, because she has the scholarship money, and she can work with you for sure.
And this is for children entering kindergarten.
Yes.
So those who just, the pre-K 4, if when they're coming into kindergarten, they can be into camp.
Yes.
They can be in camp, and those entering 6th. So, and some parents, they're really hesitant when their kids are teeny tiny like that, entering kinder. I have spots for volunteers. So in case parents want to volunteer to feel better about their son or daughter going into camp that young, that's fine. We just ask the volunteers not to hang with their son or daughter the entire time.
Makes sense.
Because then it takes away from their camp experience.
Well, not to mention, who wants to hang out with your mom all day?
Well, some 6-year-olds might.
No, honestly, my 6-year-old's attached at the hip to his mom, so that wouldn't work. So you're right. But that being said, if you want to volunteer, so you can kind of keep an eye on things, make sure everything's good, volunteer spots are available. But let me tell you, my son last year was pre-K. He was going into kindergarten, and so it was his first year of eligibility, and he didn't know what to expect. I was like, "You're going to Camp Invention?" He's like, "Okay," but then he went, and he was so excited, and he learned, and he's still learning, and okay. If I could just brag for a minute, last year my son, who's in kindergarten, was moved up to a 1st grade reading level.
Oh, nice!
And on his last parent-teacher conference, they told me that he was excelling past the rest of the 1st grade graders in reading.
Nice.
So his want of knowledge, which really started here at Camp Invention, has blossomed into this amazing thirst for education and knowledge. So this is a great camp, and if you're looking to kickstart your kids in the right direction, with science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And that is where we're going. I mean, whether you like it or not, we're heading into a brave new world. AI is going to be a factor. Crypto's probably going to be a factor, even though I still don't know what in God's name is going on with that. But
right, me neither.
all of these things in this changing world, this is your start. This is a great kickstart for that. So
yeah, and if you think about, you have, yes, it's $290, but if you break that down and just into 5 days, how many hours?
Right.
It's less than $9 an hour. If you have scholarship, it's going to be like $5 an hour,
exactly.
$3 an hour. How much did you pay for babysitting?
Right.
I mean,
that's just
expensive.
for somebody to look at your kid every now and again, and then otherwise watch TV or
right.
on their phone. So you're getting it's a lot of ROI, as they say, return on investment. So this is a lot of bang for your buck. It would definitely. I encourage parents to get your kids signed up if you haven't already done so. Again, contact Miss Peggy 575-420-9955. I almost don't have to look at the number at this point.
They all can also email me.
Yes.
I've had parents do that.
Yes, and that's PBOHLIN2016
I really hope that some parents who are listening and grandparents give me a call. Because like I said, I can help. I've got scholarship money available. Right. There's just spots available. And it's going to be an awesome camp.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited. We got some great people working for me. And, the $290 goes for the 31 boxes of materials.
Yep.
Plus, some of us do get paid.
Right.
I mean,
obviously, and that's
let's
necessary.
be fair.
Right. So, just a few more days to get signed up because camp does kick off next week, June 2nd through the 6th. But get your kids signed up. Again, 575-420-9955 or PBOHLIN2016 Get your kids signed up because it is going to be a blast. And like I said, I can't say enough good things about this camp, about the volunteers, about the instructors, and about the modules themselves. Last year was a robot, like a robot toy that would move in different, various directions.
Right.
And I can't tell you how happy I was the day that battery died.
Yeah.
Because that thing was moving. Because I have wood floors, so it moved so much better in my house than Mom's. And so that thing was just constantly going all over the place. And it wasn't loud; just the motor made this sound. So it was kind of like owning a Roomba, but a Roomba that did nothing. So a completely useless Roomba, or like having a roommate. That being said, this year the modules all look fantastic.
They're all different, and they're always different.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to what's going to come from this. I am curious, so because you've been working basically on this year's camp convention since last year's camp convention wrapped up. That's just sort of how it goes for you. But you do got to take a little time for you. Any I know you're the swashbuckling adventurer. Any big plans for summer?
For the summer, hopefully.
Okay.
Talk about road trips.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my mom up to Glacier National Park.
Nice.
That is her dream. So we're hoping that she's well enough to go. And that's the big one. I'm also going to go to Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because there's the air show in Oshkosh, along with German Fest. I want to go to German Fest.
Well, Oshkosh bagosh.
Exactly.
And you know what? Nobody does with German Fest quite like Wisconsin because they got the right kind of curds. The ones that squeak.
Oh my God, they're great. And then I'm also going to Knoxville, Tennessee for a short time because a friend of mine who's turning 60 wants to go to Dollywood. I've never gone, so I'm like, nah, let's go to Dollywood, shall we?
That's really cool. I love, and it's so cool because every time Miss Peggy comes in, she's always, she's got pictures and she's got stories of all these different trips and different adventures that she takes. People ask me, what do you do in the summer? I'm like, I got to go to the bank on Thursday. I don't know, Texas Roadhouse? I'm kind of a homebody and I'd love to have that kind of spirit. I like my couch, man. My couch,
so my husband.
It's very cozy.
Yeah, my husband is the homebody, and I'm the one who likes to travel.
So now I'm curious, do you drag him along with you?
There's very few trips that I say, please go with me.
Okay.
But most of the time he enjoys being at home, and our marriage is working that way.
Sure, and that makes sense. You know what? It's funny you mentioned Dolly Parton because she famously has mentioned that the key to a successful marriage is get the hell away from each other. Like that's an actual quote. She said, get the hell away from each other. Don't spend all of your time with each other. You'll get sick of each other. Give yourselves time to miss each other, and then you come back and it's just better. So
right.
That is really cool. So Dollywood, and then try to also visit Euro Dollywood. That's in Alabama. So give it a shot.
That's interesting.
I'm kidding. But again, if you that having been said, if you want to get your kids signed up for Camp Invention, space still available. One more time, we'll drop the info, invent.org, or call Miss Peggy at 575-420-9955, or email pbohlin2016 at gmail.com.
And just to remind people, as for children entering kindergarten to entering 6th, it'll be at All Saints Catholic School. That's our location from June 2nd through the 6th from 9 to 3:30, unless you need the extended day.
One more thing we didn't get a chance to discuss is if your kids are going past 6th grade, say into 7th or 8th, or even into high school, there are programs available for those students as well.
A leader in training. Yes, that is available for those middle school kids.
And so you still get to participate in the modules, but there is a discounted rate, and you'll be doing acting as kind of a volunteer helper.
Yes, that is true. We still have spots for that, too.
There you go. So contact Miss Peggy, get signed up, Camp Invention 2025. It is going to be a blast.
It is. Anyway, I agree.
Thank you so much, Miss Peggy.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Here we go.
All right.
I always say right before like a big thing, I'm like, no matter what happens, it will be over eventually.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to end at some point. The clock makes it end. So
that's true.
So good luck. And
all right, thank you. And thanks for letting me come in one more time to talk about Camp Invention. I appreciate it.
And we get those drought times when when Camp Invention is kind of in the planning stages. So don't be a stranger. Come back and talk astronomy with us.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Peggy. 14 away from 8 o'clock. Let us pause and get you up to date with some local news.
With your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. New flights could bring a big boost to southeast New Mexico. 3 airlines are bidding for a contract with the Carlsbad City Council. The contract is with Advance Air right now, but that ends by the end of this year. Advance was chosen in 2023 for an $11 million 2-year contract. But now Boutique Air, which lost the bid 2 years ago, is proposing flights between Carlsbad and Dallas instead of Phoenix. One of the other airlines that is bidding is Contour. SkyWest is the third. Fire crews busy over the holiday weekend with a big wildfire at Fort Stanton that spread to 350 acres. The campfire, it began Sunday. It's been raging on Bonito Loop and Black Pershing Road on land managed by the U.S. Bureau of Land Management and the state of New Mexico. That's according to the New Mexico Forestry Division. 6 large air tankers have been put into service, along with 2 single-engine tankers and multiple ground crews. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Did you speed a little on your way to work? Maybe stop for coffee. Your car was probably tracked the entire time. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle. Cut your current cloud bill in half. Move to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Find out right now if your company qualifies at oracle.com/Kim. License plate readers, or LPRs, are cameras mounted on traffic lights, parking garages, and police cars. As you drive, they scan your plate, log the time, date, and exact GPS location. All that info gets uploaded into massive databases. Most cameras aren't run by the government. They're owned by companies like Flock Safety or Digital Recognition Network. They sell access to the scans. Police use that to find stolen cars or track suspects. But they're not the only ones buying. Repo companies, insurance investigators, even real estate investors pay for access too. To see LPRs near you, go to atlasofsurveillance.org. That's atlasofsurveillance.org. And start your day with my free newsletter at getkim.com. There's a growing expense eating into your company's profits. It's your cloud computing bill. You may have gotten a deal to start, but now the spend is sky high and increasing every year. What if you could cut your cloud bill in half and improve performance at the same time? Well, if you act by May 31st, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure can help you do just that. OCI is the next generation cloud designed for every workload, where you can run any application, including any AI projects, faster and more securely for less. In fact, Oracle has a special promotion where you can cut your cloud bill in half when you switch to OCI. The savings are real. On average, OCI costs 50% less for computing, 70% less for storage, and 80% less for networking. Join today's innovative AI tech companies who upgraded to OCI and saved. Offer only for new U.S. customers with a minimum financial commitment. See if you qualify for half off at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, no, I'm growing like a bamboo. Here's Mike Winters.
Hey, good morning. 10 minutes away from 8 o'clock. It's skipped over this earlier, so with that in mind, let us get up to date with Smiley Wooten and your Roswell Livestock Report.
Good morning. This is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good May Tuesday run following Memorial Day Monday with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, yearlings, cow-calf pairs. We expect to sell 1,400 head. Breaking down like this: 25 cow-calf pairs, the Snyder Ranches out west of Hobbs. Excellent quality black Angus cows with Angus and Charolais calves at side, good flesh. Pairs 6 to 10 years old. 40 to 45 other cow-calf pairs in the run today. 14 bred cows. New Mexico State University Ranch at Corona, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white-face Angus crossbred cows, bred to Angus bulls 2 to 5 years old. 29 young open cows. Corlitos Ranch, Fair Acres, New Mexico. Good quality black Brangus cows, thin condition, 3 to 4 years old. 331 yearling heifers, Kenneth Smith Inc., Carlsbad, New Mexico. Fancy quality, good flesh, 2 rounds of shots, right off wheat, 800 1,000 pounds, spregged open at RLA to include 124 black Angus and Angus Plus, 116 Charolais crosses, 29 black white face, and 39 red white face, and white face heifers. These heifers are fancy quality and weigh 800 1,000 pounds. 105 heifers, Corlitos Ranch, Fair Acres, New Mexico. Good quality Brangus heifers. Long time weaned, thin condition, 400 600 pounds. 31 calves, Mr. James L. at Hope, New Mexico. Good quality black Angus and Brangus crossbred calves. Cattle weaned 30 days, 1 round of shots, thin condition, 350 500 pounds. 42 calves, the Snyder Ranches at Hobbs. Excellent quality black Angus and yellow Charolais crossbred calves are right off the cows, 275 400 pounds. And 55 calves, Mr. Jim Espy, Fort Davis, Texas. Excellent quality black Angus calves, 1 round of shots, medium condition, 350 550 pounds. Sale time this morning will be 9 o'clock. Sale pairs of bred cows 10. Be selling calves and yearlings about 11 o'clock. We expect to sell 1,400 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A few clouds today, but some sunshine as well. We still have a low pressure system and stationary front off to our east, so we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. We'll be in the mid-80s today. Maybe a shower overnight, low 60s, and then a little bit better chance of rain on Wednesdays. Scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, and a mix of sun and clouds with mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thanks, Steve. 58 degrees currently around Roswell Way with humidity at about 78%. Winds out of the north at about 10 miles an hour. Barometer at 30.14 with a dew point of 48. Visibility is at about 10 miles per hour. Looking at isolated showers, thunderstorms after 3 p.m. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny. 83 degrees for the high today. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour for tonight. Isolated showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Mostly cloudy. A low of around 60 degrees. Southwest winds 5 to 15, becoming southeast in the evening. Chance of rain is at 20%. For your Wednesday, scattered showers, thunderstorms, afternoon. Some of those storms could be severe. Looking at mostly sunny, 86 for the high on Wednesday. Winds out of the south 5 to 15. Again, chance of rain is 30%. And a 20% chance of rain pretty much across the board from Wednesday night on into your Monday of next week. 20% chance of showers, thunderstorms, pretty much staying in the upper 80s for the daytime and low to mid 60s when the sun goes down. So plan accordingly. Bring an umbrella with you. Not saying you're going to need it, but hey, always nice to have an umbrella in case you can do one of those bright sunny spots. Then you got a little makeshift shade. Look at that. Look at that. A little makeshift shade. For 6 minutes away from 8 o'clock, let us get you up to date with your Chavez County Sports Report.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report
We got All-Star Baseball coming up at the end of this week for Class 1A through 3A. And yes, NMMI is well representative. You might remember from just a week ago that the Colts won the Class 3A title, and their coach, Brad Blackwell, is going to be the coach for the green team. But he's got some players on there, too. You have to be a senior to be in this event. And Tegan Maloney from NMMI is a pitcher on the red team. Ironically, Brad Blackwell is not coaching any of his own players. Javier Yepes from NMMI is also an infielder on the red team, and Noah Martinez from the Colts, an infielder also on the red team. They'll check in Friday at Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho at 1:30, and then they're going to play game 1 at 6 o'clock. We've got a doubleheader set for Saturday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. will delay implementation of the 50% tariff on goods from the European Union from June 1st until July 9th to buy time for negotiations with the bloc. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell defended the central bank's response to the COVID-19 pandemic in a Princeton University speech, in which he also praised government employees and U.S. universities, both of which have been targeted by the Trump administration. The president on Sunday said that the United States will have control over U.S. Steel as part of the company's partnership with Japanese firm Nippon Steel. As part of the deal announced, Nippon Steel plans to invest $14 billion into U.S. Steel's operations. A German court on Monday convicted 4 former Volkswagen managers of fraud and gave 2 of them prison sentences for their part in the manipulation of emissions controls over the company's rigging of diesel engine vehicles. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Looking to start, continue, or complete your higher education journey? Join the more than 5,700 current Greyhounds on their journey to student success. Eastern New Mexico University offers the most affordable higher education degree in the Southwest, and New Mexico residents can go to school tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. With online or in-person degrees, ENMU is the right choice for you. For more information, visit enmu.edu. ENMU, student success, that's what we're about.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Growing things in Roswell is a battle. Your lawn's trying to turn brown, your trees are wanting to turn yellow, the weeds want to take over, and the fleas and ticks are trying to move in. So come down to Roswell Seed Company and choose your weapons. We have fertilizer to make your lawn lush and lovely, iron to keep your trees nice and green, sprays to kill the weeds, and more sprays to chase away the fleas and ticks. This is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, except it never rains.
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and La Pantera 106.1 FM for a special live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda. The summer of fun is underway, and Roswell Honda has a great selection of vehicles marked way down to take your summer adventures to a whole new level. And with scorching rebates, incentives, and discounts, now is the best time to trade up and save. We'll be on hand from 10 to 1 with free hot dogs and ice-cold Pepsi products, too. See you Saturday, 10 to 1 for the summer of fun at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
Depends on whose side it is. 2 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here on this morning without Mike Winters. Of course, Mixmaster Mike back inside your radios and in here in the captain's chair tomorrow morning. Stay tuned next hour. We're going to replay the interview that Mike had last week with Miss Crystal Noble from the Roswell Humane Society. Obviously, this week, weather-wise notwithstanding, we are heading into a summertime full of heat and probably a little humidity, too. So we want to make sure that we take into account our fine 3- and 4-legged feline and canine friends as we head into the summertime season. And also the thrift store open for all of your needs They have all kinds of great stuff out there. So great little conversation that Mike had with Miss Crystal. We'll replay that coming up here in just a few minutes. If you miss any portion of the program, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety over at ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, or check it out on Facebook once Ms. Jocelyn gets our one interview pieced up today. You're listening to 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Stay tuned. News coming your way.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says he wouldn't be surprised if his big, beautiful bill approved by the House looks a bit different by the time the Senate gets through with it.
I think they're going to have changes. Some will be minor and some will be, fairly significant. But we've been working with the House all the way up. They've been working together.
House Speaker Mike Johnson cautioned senators not to meddle too much with the bill, given how challenging it was to get it through the House. The FBI taking a second look at some high-profile cases.
Cases include the cocaine found at the White House during the Biden administration, the leaking of the Supreme Court Dobbs case that overturned Roe v. Wade, and the pipe bombs found before the January 6th incident. In a post on X Monday, Deputy Director Dan Bongino said they've made the decision to either reopen or push additional resources and investigative attention to the cases. He said he receives briefings on the cases weekly, and they are making progress. Tasha Stevens reporting.
National Public Radio and several local stations taking President Trump to court, arguing an executive order ending NPR and PBS federal funding is illegal in violation of the First Amendment. It's why authorities always urge you to look before you lock, especially in the hot weather. A 1-year-old New Mexico boy is dead after being mistakenly left in a caregiver's vehicle for a few hours.
Obviously, being in a hot truck with windows up can get extremely hot and after just a little bit of time. So, it's just really, really sad that this happened.
The Albuquerque Police Department's Gilbert Gallegos. More than 24 people injured. A man plowed a minivan into a crowd in Liverpool, England. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow trading 407 points higher. The NASDAQ Composite Index is up 317. The S&P better by 76 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
A Greek Coast Guard captain and his crew have been charged in the deaths of more than 600 migrants. They perished in international waters a couple of years ago.
The Greek authorities have always maintained they monitored the migrant boat but did not attempt to tow it because it was progressing steadily towards Italy. But 6 survivors told us the Coast Guard intervention sank their boat. Now the captain of the Coast Guard vessel that was in the area has been charged with causing a shipwreck, with his crew accused of being complicit. The then chief of the Greek Coast Guard, as well as the supervisor in the control room on land, have been charged with exposing others to danger.
The BBC's Nick Beak. Video of France's First Lady pushing her husband away with both hands on his face just before they disembarked from their presidential plane at the start of a tour of Southeast Asia last weekend. President Emmanuel Macron says it was only a playful interaction. News and analysis, townhall.com. An injury has sidelined one of the most recognizable names in women's pro basketball.
Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has a left quad strain and will be out at least 2 weeks. The team announced the injury on Monday. The Fever did not say when Clark suffered the injury. Further updates will be provided after she gets another evaluation. The Fever lost 90-88 to the New York Liberty on Saturday and are 2-2 on the season. Clark is averaging 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds this season. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Currently visiting Canada, Britain's King Charles addresses the Canadian Parliament today, speaking of the legislative priorities of newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney. President Trump's talk of Canada, as America's 51st state, prompted Carney to invite the King to Ottawa. Charles is Canada's head of state, Canada being a member of the British Commonwealth of former colonies. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2, the news of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, happy post-Memorial Day. Hopefully your Memorial Day weekend festivities were at least relatively tame. Actually, funny story. We had to get together yesterday, and I got my son accidentally hooked on a very bougie snack. So, pull back at the curtain. I went, myself, my friend Misty, and our video producer, my friend Jocelyn. We all kind of got together to celebrate Memorial Day, to just kind of have some time together. And we you know, when we get together, we eat. It's what we do. We like food. It's the universal gathering place is at the table. So I wanted to bring something a little extra special, and I was wandering through Sam's Club yesterday morning just to kill time because my power was out and we had to get out of the house. So let's go to Sam's Club. And I saw something that I was like, I'm intrigued. I've never had them before. I've always thought about, I've been around them or adjacent to them, but I've never tried them. But they have this box of different flavors of macaroons. And no, I'm not talking about those little coconut cookies that you've probably had before. These are, I think it's pronounced macaron, but it's a French, pastry that is made, I think, with almond flour and some other stuff, but it had some variety of different flavors. So I brought these as just something to try. Well, I accidentally got my son hooked on them because he tried one. And he's like, this is like an Oreo, but fancy. And so he got home and he goes, it was like a few hours later, and he goes, Dad, I'd like to try a couple of those bonbons. I'm like, first of all, are you 27? Hey there, hot stuff. I'd like to try some of your bonbons. But that being said, I let him have a couple more, and yeah, he's pretty much hooked on them now. So if you're interested, they have a variety pack of macarons at Sam's Club waiting for you right now. Go try them out for yourself. Hey, real quick, I posted a picture over on the 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook page that came across my feed this morning, and this is the craziest picture I've ever seen in my whole life. So if you haven't seen it, there was a couple. Now, I know that women go to great lengths to get the perfect engagement photo. In fact, I've got a friend who kind of drug her fiance through the process to get like a photographer, go to a certain spot just to have that moment. And that's great. That's really cool. But when you can achieve a moment like this, I say go for it. But at the same time, maybe you shouldn't. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Daynelli and William, both of Portales, New Mexico. They have an engagement photo that's basically them standing in a field, her kissing him, or I guess him kissing her. And in the background, not too far over shoulder, is a gigantic funnel cloud, like a full-blown touchdown tornado in the background. The wind is whipping around. The sky is essentially black. Her dress is getting whipped up. So it is, admittedly, a very cool picture. That being said, run! Freaking run! What are you doing? This is a tornado literally right behind you. Have you never seen Twister or Twisters? I'm just saying, those things are dangerous. It's not that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. But go check out the picture for yourself. I posted it up over on the Facebook page, the 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook page, so you can check it out for yourself and let me know what you think. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the program. We got to get it going because we got a bit of a long one. Mixmaster Mike sat down with Miss Crystal Noble from the Roswell Humane Society last week, had a great conversation. So we're going to replay that coming up here in just a few minutes, along with all of your other hourly features, which include your Red Apple Market Report, your local news, national news, and, of course, whatever comes our way on this post-Memorial Day Tuesday morning. But first, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A few clouds today, but some sunshine as well. We still have a low-pressure system and stationary front off to our east, so we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. We'll be in the mid-80s today. Maybe a shower overnight, low 60s, and then a little bit better chance of rain on Wednesdays. Scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, and a mix of sun and clouds with mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 61 degrees around Roswell. Humidity at 65%. Winds out of the north at around 9 miles per hour. Isolated showers, thunderstorms after 3 p.m. today. Mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny and a high of 83 degrees. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming south in the afternoon. Chance of precipitation is 20%. Same thing with tonight, 20% chance of rain. Mostly cloudy, 60 degrees for the overnight low. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 15. So for your Wednesday daytime, scattered showers, thunderstorms, afternoon, 86 for the high tomorrow, 30% chance of rain tomorrow and tomorrow night, with your overnight low tomorrow night being 61 degrees, and again, winds 5 to 15 miles an hour out of the south. 20% chance of the wet stuff on from Thursday into your next Monday, so plan accordingly, and don't be like that couple. I mean, if you want to get the perfect shot, that's great. It just feels like you had to, hire an entire storm chase team, follow the maps, and then also pack along the lighting and the camera and the photographer. It seems like a lot of trouble. Let's see if that couple makes it 5 years. I'm wishing them nothing but the best. I think they're going to do great. I wish them all the best. Still, that photo is a little crazy. Go check it out for yourself, and you let me know what you think. 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, going to pay a couple of these bills, and after these, going to replay that interview that Mike had with Miss Crystal Noble on the other side of these on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in the studio this morning, Crystal Noble back with us from the Roswell Humane Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's I might be a little warm over there. I know you've got some updates and things, but at the end of the day, it probably gets a little warm in the afternoons.
Swamp coolers only do so much.
I've been told they're only designed to make things 15 degrees cooler than what it outside is. So It's going to be 100 today. You do that math. 85 inside.
Yeah. So they only do so much, but they are better than nothing. And,
Absolutely.
It circulates air, which is one of the big things that needs to happen.
Sure. Although I imagine probably have to fill the water bowls up a little bit more often when it gets like this.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the water evaporates, pretty quickly with, swamp coolers.
Sure.
Humidity.
Yeah.
You
don't like them.
Yeah. You would think that, the water would just sit. No, it evaporates quite a bit.
Yeah. And dogs, especially they're big dogs, when they drink and they're thirsty, they'll drain the bowl.
They will. That's why we use the big jugs.
Yeah, they will drain the bowl. Those tongues, they can suck up a lot of water. But yeah. So and speaking of the heat at the Humane Society, it's no different in your own lives too as well. So keeping the pets in the cars, taking the pets for walks in the hottest parts of the day. Not a good idea, especially if you're going to have your dog on things like sidewalks and pavements. It's one thing if you're in the grass the whole time, but maybe take your walks late in the evening or early in the morning when the pavement's not scorching hot and not burning their paws and all that stuff too.
Just if you want to know if it's too hot for your dogs, take your shoes off and you go stand on it.
Yeah.
And you
walk. If you can't stand it, then your pet is going to also be equally. And yes, they have better padding than you do, but it's not good enough to prevent concrete that's been baking in 100-degree sun all day.
Right. Up and down Main Street, they have signs that if it's X amount exterior temperature, the asphalt and sidewalks are a different temperature because they absorb the heat and they hold the heat.
Yeah. You always see those videos of people literally frying eggs on the streets and things.
Yeah.
That's real. And
it is.
Your dog's paws will do the same thing if you leave them out there long enough. So that's why we don't. So avoid that time altogether, maybe, before you go to work in the mornings or when you come home after dinner and all that and the sun's kind of gone down. That's a good time to take. Or if you're just blessed enough you can go right out to a park and there's some grass and because that's much better. But then again, limit the length of that walk because, they too, like you, are going to get dehydrated and need water and all.
Or, they have the collapsible bowls and stuff, so take water with you guys.
Yeah, you might want to.
If you plan on doing like a longer walk, if you have a dog that's very active that needs to have their energy drained, always take, the collapsible bowls and some water for them and for you.
You can get them at Petco for like $1. They're really cheap.
They are.
Probably Walmart has them too, or Target or whoever too. Yeah.
So those are going to be key things as the temperatures are starting to get hotter. This is the time of the year where we tell everybody, get your empty milk jugs, freeze them with water, and get the kiddie pool out, and then just put the jugs in the water.
Yeah.
And it'll help keep the water cool. Keep it in a shady area, too, so that way it's not in pure sun and just melting right away.
Well, and I don't care if you have to leave your dog out during the day because you're at work and things like that. You need to provide some kind of shelter for them.
Yes.
I mean, not only the water thing, but a dog house, someplace where they are not in direct sunlight, where they can actually cool off and not get overheated. Because if they're out in the sun all day, there's not enough gallons of water you can leave them out there without them having heat issues.
Right. So. And so with the new ordinances that have passed this year, the doghouse does have to be under a shaded area. So it can't, the doghouse is not, it's not shelter itself for the shade. It's got to have something to keep the sun off of it, so it's not making an oven inside there.
Unless you've got like a really nice, cool pimp with a porch and everything else that makes it all,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of those, they can Taj Mahal those houses out. If it's one of those, we get it. But if you just have literally the standard Snoopy dog house sitting out in the middle of the sun out there, that you need to put it on a pavilion over it or put it under a porch, or it's got to have some kind of even if you have to set up one of those dining fly tents and stake it down in front of it, that's a start at least.
It is. Yeah. And there's a lot of cost-effective ways to help make shade for the animals. They sell the shade screen. You can get it at Home Depot, Walmart, Ace Hardware, like any place that does like lawn and garden and stuff.
Sure.
Because, the shade screen is mostly for gardening to help keep, sun out of the greenhouses.
You will appreciate it as much as your pet does.
You will. Yeah. And, PVC pipes not that expensive. Shower rings are not that expensive. And you can designate, okay, here's morning shade, here's noon shade, here's afternoon shade.
Yeah.
You can make it to where it's all day shade, or you can directionalize it. And they're not that expensive to make.
Absolutely.
And You can get the different temperatures, or the different thickness where it does 15 degrees cooler, 20 degrees cooler, 30 degrees cooler. Me personally, I'd like to go to the 50 degrees cooler.
I'm about to say the bigger the better for this part of the world here.
It is, because we do get pretty hot. We've been fortunate this year to barely be cresting these nasty triple digits. But there's more to come.
Oh, yeah.
And so even though we have the cool down for a few days after, you still better to be prepared and have it on hand and have it ready. I guarantee there's going to be some
June and July temps that are going to be 1/0 this, and it's going to be for a week long and everything else. And that's when those dogs and animals out there.
And then soon our night temps are going to be in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's still too hot. Even though the sun isn't out, it's still hot.
Ideally, if you can bring your dog inside, bring your dog inside.
It is. That's the best.
By far, like, whether you have like the doggy door where they can, live in the house during the day and, have the doggy door to go to the restroom or whatever out in the backyard, and, if you can do something like that, that'd be, ideal probably. I was fortunate. My Sissy, she a big dog can hold their bladder, so I could let her out, do her thing. I go to work. When I get home, she's beating cheeks to the door, but she was able to kind of hold it all day, and so we left her indoors. Because I was like, I'd rather clean up pee than have her heat out in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. My dogs are like, oh, outdoors? What?
Yeah.
But they like to be outside. They like to lay in the sun, and they like to get the warm sun.
Yeah. And she liked to run. Like she'd go out there and she'd run around a few laps and burn some energy, and I'd go play ball with her for a little bit. And then by the time I saw her all lathered up and looking pretty nasty, I was like, all right, let's go inside and cool off.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah. I'm feeling the same way.
Yeah. Well, I'd sit under the porch and throw the ball to her, and then she'd go run around the yard and get the porch. I just stood under the porch.
Cheater.
Well, but I also trained her. Like that dog, like I would do I wouldn't release her to get the ball and kind of doing the, like her release command was okay. And I'd mess with her. And so I'd throw the ball and she'd sit there looking at me all excited. And I'd go like, Oklahoma. And she'd be like no, Okinawa. No. Okay, and then she'd go take us. We used to play that game all the time. She loved it. And so that was our fault. But we'd do that for about 10 minutes. And then she'd get really lathered up and like, all right, let's go inside.
Yeah, let's go cool off.
Yeah. But that's to be honest, that's how you should treat them. Get them out there, but be with them. Be out there, be active with them, or, you let them home, give them 10 minutes out there to do with the, smell the things they want to smell and do the things they want to do.
Mark their things.
Yeah, mark their things and then come on in the house, whatever it is. But yeah, and this is the point we say it. And if you come this weekend to want to adopt a pet, please make it understand that this pet is going to be a part of your family. Please treat it as such. If you're going to get a dog for security purposes and just going to keep it in the backyard, maybe we shouldn't be getting a pet. Maybe we should be looking at other alternatives for achieving what you're trying to do.
Right, because pets are meant to be a part of the family, not outdoor statue-like things or guard dogs. When you make a pet a part of your family, they become your family.
It's
and
like a child.
They will guard you with their life.
Oh, yeah. You'll get the loyalties and all that. Yes. Yeah. And we say this every time. Sissy, I trained her with the game, to be polite, to sit, stay. I taught her commands, but I never trained her to be a guard dog. I just trained her to be a part of the family. And the guard dog is instinctual.
Naturally.
It comes natural. If you put the love in, it's no different than like your kids. You have a kid and you're like, I'm going to go through a wall for this kid. If you build that trust with your dog by simply just being a good parent, loving on it, letting it do its thing, and not discipline's a thing, but how to do it and how to do it the right way and all this stuff. If you establish that and do that, you don't have to have the guard dog. As soon as someone comes to that house that doesn't look like they belong there, the dog will do what the dog does, and you'll be amazed at what happens there. You'll see a different side of your dog literally Sissy. That I swear that dog never hurt a fly. She's just loving on the floor. Kids tug on it. Don't matter. She's good to go. Moment some stranger rolled up in our house, the hair gets up. Whoa.
You're like, who are you?
And that's what you get when you treat a pet like it's part of the family.
Speaking of pets, we have a lot of large dogs.
Okay.
That are still looking for homes. All the little dogs have swooped right out the door.
Okay, so if you love the larger breeds, we got a great selection.
We do, and a lot of them have been there for a while. That are very good. They're not, and I think the majority of the reason why a lot of people are like, oh, why they've been here so long is because they're actually a large dog.
There are adult large dogs.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, if I get a large dog, I want it as a puppy. Well, yes, but also a large dog that's an adult's already passed a lot of the chewing stages.
And to be honest, most of these pets are housebroken at that point, or easily trainable to be housebroken.
Yeah, because our larger dogs are able to go in and out. Mm-hmm. So the way our kennels are set up is in the morning they go out. You know, we clean in the mornings, get everything reset, and then they come in, they have their breakfast, lunch, whatever, and then throughout the day, you know, check on them, make sure they don't have any accidents. So they're used to going in and out, in and out,
dogs,
in and out.
Particularly big dogs, are very routine oriented. They will do your routine. They will do what you do. So these big dogs will adapt pretty quickly to however your lifestyle is. If you get up at a time, they're going to train to get up at the time. They're going to, you know, when it's time to eat, they're going to, you know, they will follow your lead on that stuff. You know, yes, you're going to have to, you know, a little bit. It's like, hey, it's dinner time. This is not when I eat dinner time now. And you're like, oh, no, we'll eat dinner in an hour. You know, whatever it is. But they will adjust to your routine. And I'd say give it a week or so, and that dog will be fully augmented into your lifestyle and adapt to kind of do that.
And a lot of people, you know, they think the summertime is like the best time to get a pet because, you know, they spend more time at home.
Sure.
And it is a good time, especially when, you know, you want to do the training and all of that and you have the extra time for it.
Time to it.
But also you want to make sure that you're kind of still doing like what your normal routine would be. So that way when you actually transition back to your normal routine,
right,
the dog's not like, what? This isn't what we do.
Yeah.
And we do tell people, you know, they follow your schedule. If you get up early, they're going to get up early.
Yeah.
If you sleep in late, some of them will sleep in late with you.
You know, you make a good point. Like in our home, my wife is a school teacher. And so, you know, they're off during the summers and things like that. And even with my two cats to this day, there is that bit of adjustment when she's home for 3 months and then all of a sudden not home. And now it's not a big deal, but the cats notice and they act and they do different.
They're like, hey.
And they get, you know, like, where you been? Where you going? You know, it's funny. You do realize that cats love you when you leave for a bit. Like they, you know, cats just can nonchalantly act like you're around and love you and they'll accept your love. And sometimes they're like, oh, I'll accept it, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? They kind of give you that, go leave for a couple days. Those cats, that facade falls when you come back.
I bet.
They are up in your lap. They are with you every single place you go for the next day or two, which is awesome. I kind of like that.
It's hilarious because our dogs, like, I'll walk outside to go check the mail, come back in, and they're like, hi, where you been? And I'm like, you just saw me, but okay. I'll go outside to go feed the horse. They're looking out the window, watching me going out to feed the horse, and then I come back in. They're still like, hey, you left.
Yeah.
You left.
Start all over. Well, I think that's a move. If you give them, like, treats or do something when you get home, they ain't dumb. You went out, come back in treat time, right?
Yeah, they're like, hey.
So
But
maybe when you do that, maybe you know, put it this way. Sometimes you create habits by you creating them. You know, you do things, and next thing you know, they're doing it. But it's like, well, I did it. It's my fault. You know.
And it's funny because one of our dogs, you know, he is a big dog.
Yeah.
And a big dog. And so my sister, you know, she lets him in and out throughout the day. You know, whenever they need to go out. As soon as I walk in the door, even if he was already outside, walked inside to greet me, I still have to go let him outside because that's the routine.
Yeah.
Is when Mama gets home, they go out to go potty.
Right.
Even though he's already been out to potty, Mama still has to let him out to go potty.
Sets up right in that position to be ready for that.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, do you hold it so I can let you out? You know, because you always got to go.
Like, do you really even go? Or you just kind of...
No, he goes when I let him out.
Okay.
But it's just funny because I can pull in the driveway and he can be in the front yard greeting me.
Right.
Come in the front door, meet me at the back door, and then I have to walk to the front door to let him back out.
But that's the life of pets. It really
and
is.
it's funny because if I come home 5 minutes early, he will wait until 5 o'clock. And then he's like, okay, it's time to go out. And I'm like, I've been home for 5 minutes. And he's like, nope, it's time now.
Yeah. Their internal clocks are amazing for animals. It doesn't matter which one.
Time change screws them up just as bad as it does us.
Yeah, it does.
Smells like water.
Is that outside?
Possibly.
I'm trying to hear. Yeah, or do we go there? No, we're good. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what that noise was. I was hearing this weird noise in that.
Well, I can still hear it in this corner.
Okay, that's outside.
Or I wonder if they're doing outside work.
I thought that was yeah. It was. Sorry, it threw me off. It sounded like static, and I was like, "Did we lose? Did we get knocked off the radio?" No, we're good. Okay, sorry about that. I just saw that and got a little nervous.
We do have a cat, an adult cat.
Okay.
Her name is Blanche. Sorry, I just drew a blank. She's short hair calico. She has 2 different color eyes. She has one green eye, one blue eye.
So she's a pretty cat, actually.
She's very beautiful.
Yeah.
And most calicos and tortoiseshells are not the love me.
No. As a tortoiseshell owner.
She is.
Cool.
She is a needy love.
Oh, so if you like...
You want a needy kitty? She's a needy kitty.
I'm going to take a stab, probably a loner cat, too. Like, probably doesn't do well.
Well, she's only had a few litters of kittens.
Okay.
She did come from a house where there were other cats.
Okay.
And there was no issues.
Okay, because I'm just, generally speaking, needy cats tend to steal all the attention. Like, when you try to pet the other cat, they're like, and they go busting in like the Kool-Aid man.
she's the size of the Kool-Aid kitty. But she's very affectionate. For most tortoiseshells and calicos, they're like, love me when I want love, and that's that. She's like, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me.
Mine's kind of like that but she gets overstimulated and then goes crazy and runs and tries to bite you or something. That's the tortoiseshell.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
Yeah, she loves hard, boy, but
when she loves, she loves.
Yeah, and that's yeah.
And we do have the other kittens. However, we're still working with ringworm.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they're not out of quarantine yet.
Okay.
They're of size, but I've got to get them over the ringworm before I can put them up for adoption.
So it might be a couple weeks here before they're.
They're on round 2 of week 3 for treatment, and it's a 6-week treatment. So I've got 3 weeks to go.
Okay. So here in about 3 weeks. So
probably there should be a slew of.
Late June. We should be open.
I'm going to say just anticipate late June, just for safety.
Just for in case there's a backwards setback or something like that. Yeah.
So just a preview. There's 2 tortoiseshell kittens.
Okay.
One long hair, one short hair. There's 2 orange tabbies that are short hair.
Okay.
Then I have 2 long hair orange tabbies, a tan tabby, a solid black, 3 long hair flame point Siamese, and 2 long hair orange tabbies.
Okay.
So kitten season has hit.
I'm about to say it's quite a variety there. So, but look for.
And then we have an
an
adult mama kitty.
Okay.
She's the mama to the 4 kittens. Her name is Freckles.
Okay.
The 2 orange and the tabby and the black. She's the mama.
Did she have the babies at the shelter?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
A neighbor had contacted and said that their neighbor had moved out and left the cat, and she was pregnant.
Of course. So
she took the mama kitty in. Mama had kittens in the house, and so when kittens were weaned, she brought mama and kittens to us.
Okay.
But we're trying to get mama's milk to dry up because mama's still lactating and not
nursing.
having any babies to nurse.
Yeah.
So she had to go on some medication to draw up and stop the production of milk because we don't want her to get mastitis.
Yeah.
So she'll go up before the kittens. We just got to get her dried up and cleared up before she can go up.
Well, and this is the thing. Every single pet you adopt from the humane side, they want to make sure it's healthy.
Yes.
And everything else. We don't want to burden you with, oh, by the way, this one has to follow on with this treatment or this kind of thing. No, in theory, we want to have you adopt a pet that goes to your vet to get spayed or neutered, chipped, and then ready to enjoy life with your family. That's what we want.
We're not perfect. There are times where,
you're not doctors. Sometimes something happens right afterwards. It just does.
Yes. And, if you call us and tell us, hey, so-and-so we adopted and an issue happened, we're more than happy to work with you and try to help you the best we can.
Sure.
Because our goal is to not adopt out an animal that is sick. We want to make sure that they are healthy and adapt into the new home perfectly, smooth transition, because that helps set a good memory for adopting.
Absolutely. Yeah, not everybody's like that. Like we actually years ago adopted a little cat from not the Humane Society, a kill place, and she was really a sickly kitty. She was very underweight. And my wife saw her, and you know what happened. Like, oh no, and adopted her, and we had her a day or two, and she just couldn't survive. She just couldn't do it. She was too little, too sickly,
But the few days you did have her, she.
But my wife's heart was like, oh no, I'm gonna, even if it does die, it'll die with us in a peaceful. You know, she was literally, whatever time we have left with this cat, I'm gonna make it better, and that's what she did. So, yeah, it was one of those.
Super Savior Kim.
But and so. If you are looking for, but I'm telling you, we talk about the warnings in here and all this, but this is, if you do the right environment, if you adopt the dog, cat, you treat it like a member of the family, you're going to have a very rewarding experience as a pet owner, and it will beget the next pet ownership and just create that love. So that's what the Humane Society is trying to do. So please be understanding when they're a little stringent on wanting to see your property, when they want to make sure that you have a meet and greet, you have other animals, other dogs. Well, guess what? We're going to have a little kumbaya before we figure out whether this dog can be in your home without creating chaos.
Right, because we don't want you to get home and then the dogs just absolutely do not like each other, and then the dog has to come back to the shelter.
Absolutely.
Where we go through all of this to try to prevent them from entering back into a shelter. Now, unfortunately, there are times where, they get along in the beginning, and then over time, they're just like, too dominant, and they don't mesh, and things happen. Things with humans, we might start working with somebody, and
divorce industry is very successful because of that.
Yes. We, decide that I really don't like you anymore.
Fit.
Yeah, and those are things that unfortunately only time will tell. But we do what we do to try to keep them from having to come back to the facility.
We want to make sure these animals find their forever happy homes, and regardless of where they came from, that's the thing. And like you said, you get all the time. There's one basic, and people are awful with animals. That's just the sad, honest truth. Animals, I understand. I'm not going to have the debate of humans, animals, but to me, it's a living and that's part of your family, and you treat it like a human, in my opinion. And not everybody agrees with that, and I understand that. That being said, I don't care if you think an animal is more or less than a human, whatever. It's not okay to just abandon an animal when you move. It's not okay to when this thing is become a inconvenience in your life, you can just dump it off in the woods or kill it or dump it at the Humane Society, for that matter. I'd much rather you do that than the choices above, but at the end of the day, shame on you. You're an adult, and if you're not willing to put this time in and understand this is a living, breathing thing that's going to give you, that's what we're trying to do here. So if you're not ready to make this animal a part of your home, go get a stuffed animal. Go find a computer robot thing, whatever. I don't care.
Get a video game.
Sims. Do something that isn't living, breathing, and is a life that impacts on it. But and so that's the point here. So because we don't want the weirdness going on, people they abandon and all that. And I know people's lives and cultures are raised this way, and I get it. You're used to ways and things, but at the end of the day, if you're not willing to treat these like just part of your kids, then don't.
Times change, and so do some things in cultures.
Yeah.
And I understand. There's working animals. Animals that help herd livestock and all of that, and then there's working dogs.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what they do. But guess what? Those animals are treated well.
They're treated like a member of the family because family works the cattle.
Yeah,
family works the livestock. Family works the farm.
They serve a role and they love it, and it gives those animals purpose, which that's what they love to do. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's the abuse, the guard dog, chaining it up in the back, not having any kind of interaction with the dog. I'm telling you right now, all those people say the dog's in the backyard because it's crazy and doesn't like people. It's your fault you didn't interact with it. It likes people because you've told it not to like people. You've trained it to not like people.
Right.
That's why it's doing that. You need to interact with it. You need to get it, build a trust. You need to love you and like you, and then it's going to start liking other people. Because right now it thinks everyone's like you, the one that neglects it, the one that's not feeding it, the one that's just leading it to survive out in the backyard.
Yep.
Sorry, I got soapbox.
It's okay. I got a bunch of stuff for the thrift store.
Oh, good.
So, remember we talked last time about the Armoires?
Yes.
The Armoires have arrived.
All right.
They are huge.
Nice.
Very nice. Like, perfect condition. They are heavy.
I was about to say they're probably solid as all get out and going to take a team of people to move them. But once you got them in place, they're going to be beautiful.
2 of them are 2 pieces.
Okay.
Where you can move the 2 pieces.
So you get a little bit of respite moving those.
One is a 1 piece. And it's a beast.
Okay.
But they have them marked for $150 each.
Okay. So if you have a big room, like maybe with high ceilings, that might be a beautiful thing.
Beautiful
for a
thing.
Yeah.
She has a lot of furniture. She has a king-size bed frame, no mattress or box spring, just a frame. She has a dresser, a lot of end tables, 2 reclining chairs, an antique table with 6 chairs. They have that marked for $150.
Nice.
Lots
of
swim.
150? I bet if you start running numbers on that thing, and depending on the condition, you probably thousands of dollars.
Some of them probably are. Swimsuits, shorts, they're all out. Tis the season.
What, pool open Saturday? The outdoor pool at the rec center open Saturday. So get in now and get your trunks.
They do still have some jackets and hoodies, and what they're doing is all jackets, hoodies, and sweaters are half off.
Excellent.
So if you want to get some for future summer or winter, falls.
We do live in the desert, and sometimes it gets cool at night where you want a light jacket or something, even in warmer times.
Yes. Yeah. Children's books paperback books are still $5 for $1.
Okay.
If you have not been into the book room recently, it is recently stocked with fiction, nonfiction, and cookbooks.
Okay.
Up to date fiction, up to date nonfiction, and current
some
cookbooks.
modern stuff.
Some modern stuff.
Good deal.
And in honor of Memorial Day this Saturday, the entire thrift store will be half off.
Okay.
So if it's $150, it'll be $75. If it's
I was about to say the prices are uber cheap already for the value of what the products are, but to even have half that off. So if you need to stock up on clothing, wardrobe, summer,
got a ton of it.
Shoes, they always have a great selection of shoes, books. There's things that you will always find a lot of.
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks, plenty of that stuff. But, and I'm telling you right now, this might be a good, I know kids going to college here in the fall. This weekend might be good. Hey, maybe there's a microwave or a coffee pot we can pick up for half price.
They have a lot of stuff
that they can take with them to college and all that, and it's not super expensive. So when it gets to college and gets dogged out, because that's what happens to furniture and appliances and things at college. It's college.
It is, and a lot of these kids, they're only gonna get like 2 to 4 week break before they got to get on campus, get set up. So you're graduating this weekend, next weekend, and then you're making decisions on stuff, and
the next
then going.
phase of life starts.
Yeah.
And so if you come by this Saturday, if you got time, you can do a little shopping, pick up maybe some knickknacks that could look good for those college dorms and all that, or take advantage of it for yourself. You're like, I need a new microwave. All right, come on down. Let's get let's get one. You don't have to pay $1,000 for a new one. We can get you the same quality for 1/10 of that price.
Yeah. Camille tries to keep everything very reasonable price-wise because she knows, the majority of people that, come to shop at the thrift store are on a budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, we want to be appreciative of the people that are donating it and not price gouge everybody because that's not fair.
And the beauty of it is because these are through generous donations and everything. So whatever money comes in is straight profit to the cause to help the organization. So you get the advantage of paying something way underpriced at the end of the day for most of this stuff, and every single dime of it goes to pay for vet bills, for cleaning supplies, cat food, litter, dog food, toys, whatever is needed to run the day to day for the
air conditioning supplies, which I'm fixing to go finish
I'm
picking
about to say, keeping things cool.
Yeah, keeping things cool.
Imagine you have to invest in kiddie pools to maybe lay around a few of those for some of the dogs.
So we do have some of the kiddie pools. The majority of the time, the dogs just end up poking holes in them.
Well, they're toys and they go crazy and have fun with it.
But when we get huskies or long-haired dogs, they always have a kiddie pool outside in their big kennel outside, so that way when they're outside, they can lay in it and do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, them dogs aren't built to be in New Mexico. That's all I'm saying. They're huskies. They're literally running Iditarods in the Arctic Circle. They're not built to be hanging out.
Their fur is completely different from summer or from our summer.
Yeah, they ain't built to be in southeast New Mexico.
No.
That's hot.
Pugs aren't even built to be here. Boxers aren't built to be here. They don't breathe well here.
Yeah, any pushed-in nose dog has really got it rough out here. It's kind of, I mean, to be honest, in all the time, it doesn't matter where they are. It's just they've been so crossbred, and now their parts aren't as functioning the way they should. That's what's going on.
They look funky.
Yeah.
I saw something not so long ago that somewhere back east, I don't remember. They were trying to figure out how to stop the smushed in face on the breeds. And so they were finally able to figure out how to correct the DNA of a dog to bring the face out. So
they have the nasal passage. It works properly and everything else.
And so they tried it on French Bulldogs because they're one of the main breeds.
One of those pushed-in face.
And they were actually able to successfully have a litter of puppies that did not have the pushed-in face.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope, for the love of God, that they do the AKC, because that's the problem. Is like, no, I don't want them pushed in because that's worth the value of the money. So I hope they you know what I mean? Because
the AKC, the way the Frenchies are supposed to look, it's not supposed to be pushed in.
Okay.
No.
I don't know enough on the competition.
Too much breeding and staying close in lines to keep things from not being purebred, and it's inbreeding basically to an extent.
Yeah, exactly. Purebred dogs are just a form of inbreeding. It really is unhealthy for the animals.
It is.
Their lifespans are much shorter. They're less intelligent animals from
and they have a whole lot of more medical problems.
And you're paying a lot for medical issues, not just spending an outrageous amount for grooming and all that stuff. That's why, to be honest, and I say this almost every time, if you're going out this weekend to look for a new dog for your home, mutts are the best things to come to me. It could be.
And I'll tell you right now, I got a kennel full of them.
Yeah, mutts are just, okay, it might be mostly lab or mostly whatever it is, but it's a mutt. It's got a little something else in there, and that little something else is the personalities of those dogs are generally better. They have less medical issues. They just are better, healthier pets. They're just not dealing with the issues. You can have one of these dogs for 10, 15 years and had hardly a medical issue with them. They just keep going. They're fine, and they're happy, loyal, and not dramatic for the most part either.
Right.
They don't have the drama that comes with some of these purebreds. They're humble. If that makes sense. Usually they're humble. They're humbler dogs. They just are for the most part. They're just smarter. They pick up on things. They're more appreciative. They're more just every aspect I've had with with a mutt has always been. And when I see purebreds, most of them, like even poodles or ones that are considered more friendlier breeds, they still have a thing every once in a while. They have just whatever. It's mutts never have that issue. So that's my advice to you. You go. Then again, there'll be people. No, I want the King Charles Cavalier, whatever thing to have. Yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever you gotta make your friends think you like you better or whatever it is.
The most recent one is cane corsos. That's what everybody's asking for, and no, we don't have any.
Yeah.
We don't get them in the shelter often, and typically when they do come into the shelter, one, owner is not far behind to find it.
Right.
Or two, it's got some issues, and we're trying to figure them out.
It's kind of like a Porsche rolling in. Either people are going to know it's a Porsche and grab it, or like you said, it's the dog because of the inbreeding and everything else going on. This dog's a hot medical mess.
Yes.
That's unfortunate. So. But anyway, whatever your proclivities are, please adopt it. And here's the thing. I'll say it every time. I don't know what's going on at animal control right now as far as adoptions and stuff, but if you do not find pets that resonate with you in the Humane Society, please walk right next door to animal control. Either way, you are rescuing a pet from adopting from either facility.
And we tell you the same thing when you come into the shelter. Did you see anything there? No. Well, check animal control right behind us. They're in walking distance.
Yep.
And a lot of the times, animal control will do the same thing. If they walk through and they don't see something, they'll tell them, hey, don't forget up front to the Humane Society.
There are pet lovers over there. They love pets and stuff and want to find homes for them, too, even though their mission's a little different than yours. But at the end of the day, they want to find homes for these pets just like y'all do. So please, and I've got, like, right now I'm 50-50. My black and white is from animal control. My tortoiseshell was from the Humane Society.
Of course, your tortoiseshell, the one with attitude, comes from me. I have to give you the attitude, kitty.
To be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. That cat is, because at the end of the day, she's so dang cool when it comes. I've never. She's loyal to the fault. She follows me everywhere. She hangs. I could get a tub, and the cat's just hanging out with me. Just that's what she likes doing. You know,
You need to get one of those wash tubs like back in the old days and just sit in the middle of the front room with a scrub brush. Yeah. And like you're watching TV, see if she gets in there with you.
She would hang out. Like, she's like her partner in crime. And my wife, she, you know, like, there's certain things she does with her that won't with me, and vice versa. And that's it. Trust me, don't let tortoiseshell scare you. If you put some love in that cat, you'll have an amazing.
Oh, they're funny. Like, either they love you or they hate you. You know, and if you can mesh with them, you are in.
Yep, and that's what it is. Now, she does. She gets like she'll come up and be like making out with my wife 1 minute, and then it gets too much, and she's like, and then pops her and then leaves. that's her. But
I think she gets too far, kid.
Yeah,
you
she
took
gets
it too far.
Overstimulated. I think because you can literally see, like, if you start petting her, like, she starts, like, you know, getting the shakes and getting the ooh, like when you touch something, you get the chills. She's doing all of that. So she's way stimulated when you do this stuff. So
it's fun.
It is fun. Anyway, come by. As far as the hours this weekend here,
It's going to be the same as normal, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 12 and 1 to 4:30.
Very good.
And then the thrift stores, 10 to 4:30, Wednesday through Saturday.
Absolutely.
So new stuff was out yesterday,
No
and
Wednesdays.
they're still putting on lots of stuff out during the week too.
So if you missed the 10 o'clock club, it's all right. There's plenty of new stuff. Because to be honest, when the 10 o'clock club and everyone comes in and starts, you know, emptying the shelves, we got to restock the shelves.
We do.
In theory, new stuff comes as you buy it.
So the more you buy, the more new stuff comes out.
Exactly. And by the way, if you're a collector of things and you want, don't hesitate to ask the staff there to kind of be on the lookout for you. They have a list of stuff. If you collect, I don't know, Hummels or whatever, Coca-Cola stuff, whatever you're into,
or
they're always on the lookout for that stuff.
Your wash machines on the fritz, and you think you're going to need to replace it soon, you know, just say, hey.
When it comes in, let me know. I'd be interested in it.
Yeah, let me know. I'll come down. I'll get
Absolutely.
it, whatever.
Yeah. Or if you're looking for furniture or clothing, or like I said, I got a kid going to college here in a month. What can you hook me up with this, and a futon, whatever you need. Put it on the radar. They'll be happy to be on the lookout for that.
Camille's always very good about, you know, trying to help out the people, as well as, you know, people coming in saying, hey, I need this, or
sure. Well, we got 5 minutes, but we can do it real quick. What about like volunteers this summer? Could you like say there's kids, high school kids that want to come
have a
and
couple
help clean shelters or
that are coming?
Whatever. Yeah.
So if they're under 18, I have to have a guardian signature.
Okay.
The guardians have to approve for them to be there. And then basically, you know, the first couple of times of coming in, you know, I watch you, make sure that, you know, you're going to be okay. Because I don't want you to be in a situation that you can't handle.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to put you with an animal that's going to be way too much for you.
Well, sure. If you're not used to a bunch of barking dogs, that could be a little overwhelming.
Right. So for the first few times, you know, I'm kind of like Mother Hubbard.
Sure.
And then, you know, when I see exactly what you're capable of.
Sure.
And not too much or whatever.
See how you work with the animals. And some people are animal people, some people aren't. And you figure it out pretty quick, usually.
Yes. The thrift store is always looking for volunteers, too. So if you know, don't mind folding clothes or hanging clothes.
If you love organizing, if you love sorting, if you love those kinds of activities, Camille's got probably a bevy of jobs for you.
Yes. So if, you know, you love animals, but you don't have the emotional support to be helping them physically, you could always help at the thrift store. That helps them just as equally.
Yeah. And by the way, that's a good way if maybe you live in an apartment or live in a place where you can't have a dog or something like this, and you need your animal fix. You know, you're going to be hanging out with a lot of them. You're going to, you know, so if you need that is for your own mental health, feed your soul, we would love to allow that opportunity to happen.
I have a couple from the Institute that are going to be with me this summer for the Honor Society.
Cool.
Because they got to do X amount of hours a year for Honor Society, and so I got a couple of them already coming in, and
nice.
I got one this way, one that way, so.
I got you. Yours is, I mean, yes, you're dealing with some waste.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, that's a pretty cool place to, I mean, if you love pet animals, I mean, I ain't going to lie. I mean, yes, it's loud, it smells because of, various things, but you're really you're surrounded by animals that at the end of the day can't wait to be with you and want attention and love from. I don't know. It just seems like a kind of a nice place to hang out.
I'm just gonna go stick Mike in a kennel with one of the big dogs. Miss Sissy, here you go.
Give me some, feed me, drink me. I would. Yeah, all right.
Bring me a cherry Coke Zero and I'll be okay.
Slip me a burger every once in a while. Some soda would be all right. Very good. Well, did we get it all?
I think we did.
Awesome. Well, have a great Memorial Day weekend.
You too.
And we'll see you here in a couple of weeks. And everyone stay cool, stay warm. But if you need, RoswellHumane.org. Go there if you want anything to be a member, any kind of things to do with the Humane Society, you'll find that information there.
Yes.
So, including becoming a member, which is a great way to support because your membership fees, again, pay for vet bills, pay for the needs of the pets.
And the membership fees are only once a year unless you do a lifetime, and then you don't have to ever pay again.
Oh, if you want to get more money, we'll be happy to take it. But it's once a year, and and all of it goes back.
If you want to make monetary donations, you can do that on our website as well. There's a donate button on every single page.
Absolutely, yeah, and please do that. That's what keeps those doors open. That's what allows the ability to bring these pets. The Humane Society deals with extreme family situations almost on a daily basis. So your support of it allows them to keep doing that because if they're not there, animal control can't handle it. Everyone else can't. We have too many of this. So this is a necessity, not a luxury that we've got.
Yes.
Good deal. Well, thank you as always.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in a couple weeks. It is just about 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us.
Update. I'm Jared Sorello. New flights could bring a big boost to southeast New Mexico. 3 airlines are bidding for a contract with the Carlsbad City Council. The contract is with Advance Air right now, but that ends by the end of this year. Advance was chosen in 2023 for an $11 million 2-year contract. But now Boutique Air, which lost the bid 2 years ago, is proposing flights between Carlsbad and Dallas instead of Phoenix. One of the other airlines that is bidding is Contour. SkyWest is the third. Fire crews busy over the holiday weekend with a big wildfire at Fort Stanton that spread to 350 acres. The campfire, it began Sunday. It's been raging on Bonito Loop and Black Pershing Road on land managed by the U.S. Bureau of Land Management and the state of New Mexico. That's according to the New Mexico Forestry Division. 6 large air tankers have been put into service, along with 2 single-engine tankers and multiple ground crews. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Did you know almost 75% of the time we're replacing a roof, something totally weird or unexpected or bizarre happens? Jennifer here again from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that we are always prepared for the unexpected. That's why we always have Project Superintendent on site at your home at all times to handle those weird, bizarre things as they pop up. Things like an unexpected layer of wood shake shingles under your shingles or rotted out decking boards, problems with flashing or ridges or missing supplies that somebody needs to chase down. These are the kinds of problems that normally grind the crews from other roofing companies to a halt and delay the project. But not with our super awesome superintendent there. He's equipped to handle any problem and keep the project moving along smoothly. Just one more way we do things better at Trustmark Roofing. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Attention Roswell Coyote fans. When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge starts after the finish line. When victory alone isn't enough, raise your bar, keep dreaming, and go beyond the limits that you thought possible. The new 2024 Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot, part of the Roswell Honda Rugged Trail Sport lineup. Roswell Honda, proud supporter of all Roswell High School sports.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock, closing in on the 9 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to be replaying the interview Mike had with Miss Madi Manchego and Sue Steed from Tai Chi for Health. We'll be replaying that coming up here in a minute. Hey, just wanted to put this on your radar. Coming up this weekend is the kickstart for the Roswell Night Skies Movies in the Park. It's going to be going down at the Rustic Soccer Complex there at 1500 North Grand Avenue. The movies begin at sunset, and this Saturday they're kicking it off with a doozy. It's Shrek. That's right. Going down the 30th of May, which I believe is Saturday. It might be Friday. It might be Friday, actually. Anyways, that's going to be happening the 30th of May at the Rustic Soccer Complex. Shrek is the movie this weekend. Other movies in the run include Wicked, Mufasa, Paddington in Peru, The Wild Robot, fantastic movie, Elemental, Wish, Princess and the Frog, Inside Out, and Dr. Dolittle. So great movies lined up for the summer, but it begins this weekend with Shrek at the Rustic Soccer Complex. More info at roswellnightskies.org, so go check that out for more info. Got your news coming up next, and then we'll be back on the other side of these on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street was already flying high this morning. This could help boost it even more. Consumer confidence, measured by the Conference Board, rebounded this month following 5 straight monthly declines. The latest Russian attack on Ukraine could be the last straw for some congressional Republicans demanding the imposition of harsh sanctions on Russia for its devastating drone and missile strikes, the largest such assault of the war so far. We're getting some hints from President Trump that an Iran nuclear deal could soon be announced.
The president sounded upbeat following the latest round of talks between the United States and Iran.
I can tell you the Iran talks have been going very well.
He pointed to real serious progress in negotiations and said he might have something good to report soon.
I really would like to see that happen, and I think there's a good chance that it could happen.
The two countries are discussing how to curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for lifting some economic sanctions. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The president says the Senate and House leadership have been working together, working to build Republican support for that big, beautiful bill.
John Thune and Mike Johnson have done a fantastic job. They've been working together all the way up, so hopefully that'll be fine.
The president expects the Senate to make some changes to the House bill. Some will be minor, some fairly significant, according to Mr. Trump. Almost 50 people injured, 11 still hospitalized in Liverpool, England.
British police have said an incident in which a minivan hit crowds celebrating Liverpool's soccer victory is not being treated as terrorism. Merseyside police said a 53-year-old man, believed to be the driver, has been arrested, and they're not looking for anyone else.
And that's correspondent Karen Chamis reporting from London. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 520 points, the Nasdaq ahead 351. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A U.S.-backed group says a new aid delivery system for Gaza has opened its first distribution hubs in the territory.
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is taking over the handling of aid despite objections from the UN. The group says truckloads of food have been delivered to its hubs and distribution to Palestinians has begun. The foundation adds in a statement that, quote, more trucks with aid will be delivered tomorrow with the flow of aid increasing each day. It says its distribution points will be guarded by private security firms and that the aid will reach 1 million Palestinians by the end of the week. Ken Lorman reporting.
More than 200 Ukrainian POWs have died in Russian prisons since Moscow's invasion began 3 years ago. Officials from human rights groups, the United Nations, as well as the Ukrainian government, say that torture, starvation, and inadequate health care are likely contributing factors in many of those deaths. News and analysis, townhall.com. The best young spellers in the English language set to face off at the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
The Spelling Bee is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. The first bee was held in 1925 when the Louisville Courier-Journal invited other newspapers to host spelling bees and send their champions to Washington. The bee is now held just outside the nation's capital at a convention center on the banks of the Potomac River in Oxon Hill, Maryland. This will be the 97th bee. It was canceled from 1943 to 1945 because of World War II, and again in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Keith Peters, Washington.
A British South African endurance swimmer has crossed the finish line of a roughly 60-mile swim around Martha's Vineyard. Louis Pugh, the first person to swim all the way around the island. The feat marks the 50th anniversary of the movie Jaws. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3. Crazy Nerds of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday. I keep telling yourself that, yes, it is Tuesday. I know everything shifts a little bit this week. It's going to shift even more for Mixmaster Mike because his Monday is going to be my Tuesday, which is actually all of our Wednesday. So it's definitely going to be some adjustment, but definitely a shortened work week for Mixmaster Mike. But he's off getting his eyes checked out and lasered up. Gary Laser Eyes will be back inside your radios tomorrow morning. Hopefully right back here in the captain's chair, and hopefully not with giant bandages on his eyes. I know he's in the hands of professionals. We need to trust the professionals. Hey, I didn't catch if it was in the last news, but there was something that was mentioned in the 8 o'clock hour in the news that I wanted to touch on. It was a national news story coming out of Albuquerque. I guess a parent left their 1-year-old in the back seat of their truck for apparently several hours. I'm not sure if they were running errands. I didn't get a chance to read the story itself, but it was at a residential area, so I'm guessing they left their kid in the car, forgot to check, and went in and kind of maybe went about their business, or maybe they were visiting with friends. I'm not real sure on the details, but sadly, that 1-year-old did pass away, and they're investigating currently the whole situation, which is awful. It is, of course, preventable. And this is something that it seems like common sense, but I definitely want to make sure that I touch on it. Please, we're getting into the summertime season. I know this week is kind of a misnomer. It's nice and cool out, but summertime means heat. And if your vehicle is like mine, even on a cool day, it can turn into an oven because that heat goes in and then has nowhere else to go. So even on a day when it's like 85 degrees here, inside your car, it's like 105, 110 when the windows are up. And that's unbearable for anybody, especially for a young life like this. So, again, it seems like common sense. And I know mostly when I say this, I'm preaching to the choir. Check. Just even if you're sure, take a look and make sure. Sometimes we get on our phones. Sometimes life gets in the way. Maybe we're stuck on today's Wordle. I don't know. But don't get distracted. Don't let yourself get distracted. Be better and check. Again, I know most of us will and would, but it just, you think we've come to a point where that stuff like this isn't going to happen. And then, again, there's a reason that common sense isn't as common as we all think it is. But that being said, please make sure that you don't leave your kids inside of your vehicle. Same thing with pets. I mean, I know that, sometimes we are just running into the store for a couple of things. Those couple minutes inside that hot car suck for your dog. I have seen a lot of people who leave their vehicles running. I've also seen a lot of people who take their pooches inside. We live in a very pet-friendly town, so I guess go nuts, but please stay away from my donuts because, I don't want a lot of dog hair. Hey, quick correction. The Movies in the Park Roswell Night Skies program is Fridays. I actually had to go back and do the math, but yes, Fridays throughout the summer, they're going to be showing movies at the Rusticay Soccer Complex at 1500 North Grand Avenue. The movies begin at sunset, which is around 8:30 p.m. But again, it's a Friday night, so, you can make the bedtime a little later, maybe grab some food beforehand, maybe pack a picnic lunch, throw out a blanket, bring out some lawn chairs, however you do it, and sit back and enjoy the movie Under the Night Sky. And this Friday night, it's going to be Shrek. That's right, the original Shrek, one of my personal favorites of all of them. I mean, I think that Shrek is probably my number 2 in the pantheon of Shreks. Shrek 2, arguably better than the original. That being said, it's probably also because I was friends with a person who had like a 2 or 3 year old at the time, and that movie was on repeat like 6 times a day, so I know every word to Shrek 2. Still, the original Shrek absolutely holds up. And, of course, that's where we learn that ogres are much like onions. Because it stank. No, because they have layers. There you go. But this Friday night and every Friday night throughout the summer, come on out and enjoy movies in the park under the Roswell Night Skies at the Rusticay Soccer Complex around 8:30 p.m. around sunset. And if you want more info, check out roswellnightskies.org. That's roswellnightskies.org. 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the program. We're going to get you up to date with the weather coming up here in just a moment. Then, here in just a few minutes, we're going to replay the interview that Mixmaster Mike had with Miss Madi Manchego and her student Sue Steed, try saying that 3 times fast, from Tai Chi for Health. They had a great conversation last week. We'll be replaying that coming up here in just a few minutes. But for now, 11 minutes after 9 o'clock, as the sun is out and the sky is blue, wind's still blowing, but let's see what the weather has in store for you.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A few clouds today, but some sunshine as well. We still have a low-pressure system and stationary front off to our east, so we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. We'll be in the mid-80s today. Maybe a shower overnight, low 60s, and then a little bit better chance of rain on Wednesday. Scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, and a mix of sun and clouds with mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Coming up, looking at 65 degrees. Looking at 65 degrees around Roswell Way, partly cloudy skies. Humidity at 63%, wind speeds out of the north at around 10 miles per hour. The barometer at 30.17 inches with a dew point of 52 degrees. Looking at most isolated showers and thunderstorms after 3 p.m. With a high of around 83 degrees. Northwest wind 5 to 10, becoming south in the afternoon. Chance of rain is at 20%. Isolated showers and thunderstorms before midnight, mostly cloudy, a low of around 60, winds southwest 5 to 15 miles an hour, and your chance of precipitation is 20%. Best chance for rain comes on Wednesday. We got a 30% chance for rain on Wednesday with scattered showers, thunderstorms. Afternoon, some of those storms could be severe. Mostly sunny, a high of around 86 degrees, winds out of the south 5 to 15, and your chance of precip is 30%. 20% chance of showers, thunderstorms before midnight, partly cloudy, a low of around 61 for your Wednesday night. For Thursday, 20% chance of showers, thunderstorms afternoon, mostly sunny and a high of around 87, Winds northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Same thing goes for the rest of the week. Into next week, 20% chance of rain. Upper 80s for the daytime, mid 60s for the nighttime hours. 13 minutes after 9 o'clock. Going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after these, that interview with Miss Mighty Manchego from Tai Chi for Life on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Hey Roswell, whatever you've got planned this week, cancel it, because Roswell Ford is slashing prices during our biggest Memorial Day savings event ever. These are the final days to get massive discounts with employee pricing for all. At Roswell Ford, you pay what we pay on our huge inventory of new Fords. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early, Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. With massive American-made savings, employee pricing for all, and more for your trade. We'll do whatever it takes to make a deal. Get on board at Roswell Ford. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Growing things in Roswell is a battle. Your lawn's trying to turn brown, your trees are wanting to turn yellow, the weeds want to take over, and the fleas and ticks are trying to move in. So come down to Roswell Seed Company and choose your weapons. We have fertilizer to make your lawn lush and lovely, iron to keep your trees nice and green, sprays to kill the weeds, and more sprays to chase away the fleas and ticks. This is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. Yeah, it's a jungle out there, except it never rains.
It's been a long, cold, boring winter, and children in neighborhoods everywhere are waiting to hear those magical words. The pool's open! Summer weather has finally rolled around. Make sure your pool is ready. Preparing and maintaining your pool for summer the right way will create a season full of smiles instead of headaches and makes your life much easier. Soft Swim, the chlorine-free sanitizing system by BioGuard, only at Mays Lumber Company, 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and back in studio with us this morning to talk some more Tai Chi for health. Mari Manchenko back with us this morning. Good morning,
Good
Mari.
morning. Good morning, Mike.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. And as you do most of the time, brought one of your students here today, and of course Phil's kind of one of our stars.
He's
of the
almost
show.
a regular.
Yeah, he's almost a regular here. But today we brought Sue Steed with us this morning. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning. How are you, too?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Wonderful.
Very good. So let me ask, how long have you been doing Tai Chi with Mari?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Almost a year.
Almost a year
now.
Yes.
Almost a year.
Very
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
So how did you find Mari? What was how did you just see a flyer or something?
I did. I went to see my doctor.
Okay.
And we in the waiting room on the bulletin board.
Nice.
There was
good marketing, Mari.
Yes.
That's what we're doing right after this. I'm going to hit some doctors and therapists and chiros.
And we're going. My friend that took me out there, she said, "Look, we could go do this." I said, "Okay."
This is cool. Now, for folks that have never had an opportunity to hear Mari and I speak here on the radio before, Mari, she's I guess studies her with the Tai Chi for Health Institute, and really, Mari, she teaches Tai Chi for all, but her really focus is really helping folks that are having issues, health issues, seniors with mobility issues, with really other issues as well, the strokes and some of these other things. A lot of folks are finding a lot of positive results from just doing simple Tai Chi, the basics of Tai Chi. And the great part is you teach it for anyone. You can be in a wheelchair. You could be very limited mobility. None of that is an excuse not to do Tai Chi.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
So I got to ask this. Because I don't think I've ever asked this. If I have, I don't. Like, when you got into Tai Chi originally, was it for this kind of stuff, or was it for other things?
Oh, no, it's all for me.
And then it kind of stumbled into, oh, man, this is Because most people, if you didn't tell them anything about it, they think, it's a martial art and thinking, sure, yes, that's all part. But this is kind of, it goes in different directions. Yes, there's the Tai Chi stuff for, at levels, I guess, self-defense, whatever you want to call that. But but this is think of this as like yoga and that type of, you're learning the moves. It's all about kind of understanding your body and listening to it, and in those moments when you're breathing and all that, you're actually you're just being in tune with what's going on, and that really does, help with this kind of thing.
Right. So are you asking me when I first
learned
about it?
What brought you into Tai Chi just to begin with?
Well, I graduated from massage school in 1990 from Santa Fe, the New Mexico Academy of Advanced Healing Arts, and part of the program was we would have daily exercises in Qigong, which is also a Chinese movement form that was never used for battle preparations.
Gotcha.
It was fabulous. I loved it. And then 20 years later, a friend of mine was teaching some Yang-style Tai Chi, also loved it.
Okay.
And then life moved forward. But because of my background, which is in movement therapy and body work and which is massage therapy and other forms
like
of
physical therapy,
hands-on therapies. Yeah. I have always been drawn to working with elders. And so I wanted to get back for two things. I wanted to find a program or find something I can teach that was backed by some science and organization.
Sure.
And I also wanted something that was for me, so very good for me, but that I could reach more people than what particular classes I was teaching.
Sure.
And so that's it basically. I wanted to find a channel.
Sure.
And then I found this program, which was actually introduced by the New Mexico Department of Health. It is one of their two fall prevention, evidence-based fall prevention programs. And I found it, and I was nuts over it. It's like, this is what I need. So I got trained, about 8 years ago in that.
Okay.
And the program is also recommended by the Veterans Administration and the Arthritis Foundation, the New Mexico Department of Health, the CDC.
And that's what you were kind of mentioning earlier. You said you wanted something, and that's the thing is for folks that are kind of, when you hear Eastern medicine and things, and they're like, okay, is it, No, this is stuff that doctors, people, in the Western world are now saying, hey, this is an excellent form of rehabilitation and various, to help patients. And you're getting doctors prescribing this, or like I said, the VA's recognizing this as an actual thing.
Some insurances even
will pay for some of this.
Will pay for some of this. If your physician will write you a script and it's within your means of your insurance company, it also will reimburse you.
So, what do you got to lose? Check it out. That's kind of the thing. So, I got to ask you, Sue, when you started here about a year ago, what was some of the reasons you wanted to come and try out Tai Chi?
I have arthritis.
Okay.
And I had a stroke, only I was in the hospital when I had it, so they couldn't even find a picture of it afterwards.
Oh, wow.
So I was lucky that way.
Now, did you have a lot of limited movement from the stroke?
No.
No? Okay.
No, nothing. You couldn't.
No paralysis, none of the symptoms?
Nothing, nothing. But that's why I said, if you have one, have it in the hospital.
That's right. Sounds like you. Well, they always say seconds matter, and you only have one or two. You're right there.
That's right. The doctor was right there.
Awesome.
So, but my arthritis. My mother had arthritis real bad, and especially in her hands. And my body's doing what hers did, and so my hands are really bother me, and my feet. And it's not real bad yet, but. That's why I went.
Gotcha.
That's what my friend and I saw on the desk. She said it's for arthritis. We could go do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, did your friend go with you?
Yes.
See, and that makes a difference too. So
yes,
it
does.
Like I'm sure Monty says, hey, when you see something, grab a friend, because then you can kind of encourage each other and hold each other accountable and everything else too.
Right.
So.
Well, and my friend says it embarrasses me to go by myself, so I won't go. But if you're with me, then I'm just fine. And she's right, because she just like takes off.
She became crazy about it. Now she's getting ready to get certified.
That's right.
Yeah.
So where did you start? Like, what were some of the first things day one when you walked there? What did Marty have you do that first day?
Well, we warm up first.
Okay.
Oh, I hear.
Oh yeah, don't worry about that.
Can I close this
Yeah,
door?
sure, close that door. Don't worry about that. Sorry, you heard a little echo from our other room.
I did. It's like you get phone calls sometimes.
Yeah,
So we did the warm ups, what she was saying, and I have pretty good imagination. So
sure.
She'd say, "Let your feet and nerves spread out like you're gonna." And I can just see little tendrils of roots going down to the ground.
Sure.
But she had me sit.
Okay.
Because I had arthritis.
Sure.
My friend has fall risk.
Okay.
And
so were you both seated together there?
Yes, we started out seated, but my friend got to stand up before I did, and I could never understand. She's a fall risk, and I just ate. So, but that's okay because I learned to do it sitting down, and I did it a long time sitting. That's why she asked me to come.
Well, you got to hit what they always say: you got to learn to crawl before you learn to walk.
That's
kind of
true.
Thing.
Yeah.
So, I got to ask, going in, what was your mindset? Did you kind of open up to it, or were you a little skeptical and then kind of got convinced as it went on here?
When we saw, mostly it was moving your body.
Gotcha.
To certain ways.
Clicking for you, making sense.
And it just you move very slowly.
Okay.
And it never occurred to me it might be a martial art. Now I mention it to other people, and they're going, "Oh, no, it's not that."
Hey, let them think that. That you say, "Wow, I'm a Tai Chi expert now," and then they start backing up. Let them. It's like what they want.
Yes, true.
Next thing you know, you start
Don't mess with me.
Next thing you know, you get free stuff showing up. It'll be all right.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that works.
Yeah, just let them think what they want. So, Marty, this is now that we're kind of getting into the summer here.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a good time for folks are looking to start this. You're kind of doing some startup stuff here in June for folks to. So, any time is a good time to start, but this is kind of we're just saying, hey, we got a group. They're getting into ground one. We can do it together. We can kind of that way you have some peers that are kind of at the same level you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am starting this Monday 2:30 class that is seated. It's intentionally seated.
Gotcha.
And I'm inviting people who. Not to replace possibly if you have a physical therapy program you're involved with, but
this is in addition to
a supplemental, very powerful, strong supplemental for your healing. So people that are recovering from hip surgery or cancer surgery, people that have fall risks, that are possibly recovering from neurological events,
stroke rehab.
Yeah, sure, stroke rehab and other and anxiety, any kind of trauma. And what is fabulous about the seated Tai Chi, I feel like it is even a better way, I'm going to say this, a better way than standing to initially find your core, your posture, and your breath.
Sure.
Most of us, truly, will find ourselves holding our breath at various times. And so the seated is powerful to help people find their actual strength. Now, what we do that's kind of different from any other seated program that I'm aware of anyway, even in other forms of, like yoga or other there's some really good programs out there. But what we do that's significantly different is when we are moving through the forms, which is also including your breath, your posture, finding your strength in your lower belly, and putting your head back over your spine, because how many times, especially driving, tired, look at the car beside you, people have their heads stuck out in front of them. And so once everybody, I don't care how young you are, and of course if you're very young and you have a cell phone, but putting that head out in front of the whole structure puts a whole lot of compression on all the nerves. The discs are actually in front of the spine, not in back of the spine. So we learn some really good habits that you carry out into your regular life. But So what else do I want to say about this?
You mentioned that real quick, and another thing I think about, like you're saying, squealing. As we get older, glasses get thicker, and sometimes, I don't know how many times I catch myself trying to read something, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm 3 inches from the screen. I need to back up.
Yeah, right. And it is habit.
Yeah.
And I have to readjust myself sometimes when I get up in the morning because I'm sleepy or whatever. It's like, okay, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And it actually helps my low back when my head is living where it belongs, or with the spine not sticking out. But anyway, so what is also very cool about this is that you get to do all of the forms that we do, but we press. We press with our full plate of our foot. And sometimes we tend to be a little more forward on the ball of our foot. Sometimes in regular life, sometimes we might be more heel-oriented. But we get very connected to our feet. There's something called proprioception, where we're nervous system-wise, the communication goes from our feet all the way up our body into our brain.
Okay.
So it truly gets the body more oriented and not into being in my head, because the brain is all important, and then it thinks it's very important. It sticks itself forward, and it takes us out of our awareness of how we're moving in our body. So that helps with our functioning of everything, our organs, our nervous system in terms of stress, anxiety. But because I have one more important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got all these questions.
I hear things you're saying, like,
let me go. But so I don't want to lose the fact that,
Sure.
especially hip surgery, you have hip surgery, and there's lots. I know so many folks having so many procedures now, which is, you do what you do to get out of pain and all that. But it's out of gravity. It is an exercise that we call out of gravity. So not only are you really deeply strengthening by pressing, when I press, I'm accessing not just most exercises lift. You're lifting your legs, which is good. Keep your posture, your breath, you're lifting, but that's only accessing the frontal part of your musculature. When we press, we're accessing the full thigh, not just the larger muscles, but we're accessing the full thigh. It goes into the butt, which is our biggest back muscle.
Yeah,
that
so
we
that's
kind
the strong
of
parts of the body.
It is the strong parts of the body,
Yeah.
up through the hip. And so we get to do these very nourishing, and there's warm-ups that open the femur head, a little teensy little, a half an inch move to bring more nourishment into the joints, more blood flow, more vitamins, minerals, whatever we're feeding, and lymph flows out, which is supposed to leave and take the scar tissue with it. So it's a beautiful non-weight bearing exercise, but I sweat more doing seated Tai Chi than other Tai Chi, and I love it all. But if I don't get to have a seated class, I get kind of depressed.
Nice.
Because I love it.
Well, so we need to do it. So, and just because of the chair don't mean it's not.
Oh, no, it's
a
not for
workout.
sissies.
Yeah.
And I'll have the stander sit down because I see them doing these beautiful forms, beautiful flow, great movement, working with the various Tai Chi principles. But I also see them leaning a little forward or sticking their head out a little bit. It's like, okay, let's sit today.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, my gosh, this is not easy. and Tai Chi in any form, but especially seated, is not.
And it's like anything else. Practice makes
Right,
perfect,
exactly.
and your body's going to start responding to the things, and it'll get actually easier to do it because your body's healthier and has that ability.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something here that I kind of also want to touch into, and it's you talked about stress relief, and it's the mental health side of this thing.
Right.
If you're feeling overwhelmed with life, and with I'm running here, running here. And maybe you're thinking of something like that. That's what Tai Chi's great at too, because it really allows you to kind of prioritize the brain, taking some of that. It allows you to, basically it's the big breath to say, all right, I got to figure this out. Let's take the big breath and then we can start working on this. And that's what Tai Chi is. It really is that reset the brain, redo and so yes, you're going to get all the benefits from the physical side too, but if you're looking for, I need to de-stress. I need to and I get it because you need to de-stress, but life won't allow you because you got 37 things.
Right.
Well, with your Tai Chi for health classes, you could spend an hour a couple times, once or twice a week, and then you will find huge benefits from that.
Right.
So.
Exactly. And when you're doing the breathing and your posture's in place and you're playing Tai Chi, you will notice. And the very first day I teach a movement within this is Soon style Tai Chi, and it was created more recently, about a little over 100 years ago versus a couple thousand years ago. But the Soon style has a little bit of Qigong in it, but it was built, it's smaller. It doesn't go low if you're standing, because, we stand if we can. And Ms. Sue is now in the she has brought herself up to standing, and she's having fun with it. But you just, I forgot my train of thought. And she's sitting there over so cute.
Talking about we were talking a little bit about the stress.
Yeah. So, but it slows your brain. Your brain actually starts shifting out of the faster modes into the slower modes.
Gotcha.
And the very first class, and throughout the whole form of Soon style Tai Chi, we're doing a little Qigong, but it's something you learn the first day of class. And I take it when I go to the doctor's office, because if I'm in the doctor's office, I don't want to put that out in front of me. In the past, I have gotten stressed sitting in the doctor's office when they take my BP. It's like, oh my God, here it comes.
I'm one of those people. I have that white coat syndrome.
I'm
one of those people.
I will tell them, wait, give me a minute, so I'll do my
Blood
open
pressure's
close.
always nuts when I'm in there.
Oh, well, I fix it. Let me fix it, I say, and I'll fix it, and it goes down, and they're like, wow, that's very cool. So yes, it's
that is kind of a baller status. Like, hold on. All right, go ahead.
No, it doesn't look like that. It looks much nicer than that.
But if I'm doing the movie version, that's how it's working.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But so it's very good for stress. And the Veterans Administration is now recommending Tai Chi, and it is now aware of this program also.
Yeah.
But especially for anxiety, trauma, sleep disorders, head injuries, which is, again, moving into the neurological aspect of it.
Well, and this is that part that I think we all know, that the human brain is the most amazing computer ever created.
Mm-hmm.
And we know very little about it. I mean, we know a lot, but there's a lot we don't know.
Right.
And I think this is where Tai Chi, it gets into places we just haven't figured out yet sometimes. It's just, you can tap into these things in your body, and your body will do this. I mean, and so I really think this is that part where, if you're having life issues, and it doesn't really matter what it is, if it's physical, if it's senior issues, if it's just, you just got crazy life going on and need, this will benefit you.
Right,
and yes, we are focusing on fall prevention, and for seniors and for people in wheelchairs that, that are sit bound and all this. All of them are welcome, but you don't have to have any of that to benefit from this either.
No, that's right. Actually, what's interesting is that when I have brand new people, fully mobile, fully able, I don't care how old you are, when they first come to class, I ask, not insist, of course, can you take a month of seated? Can you take 4 seated classes before you move into the standing, so you can actually figure out where to point your tailbone, so you can figure out how to actually leave your head over your spine and find your breath, but it's not a requirement. It's just that you really find it better there. However, the Monday 2:30 is the seated class, and the Wednesday, and I have some other classes, but that's for more intermediate people on Monday. But Monday 2:30.
You'll learn about those when you get to these.
Once you get there. But Wednesday at 3:30 is the basic Tai Chi class, and that is for anybody that wants to come into class.
That standing seated just doesn't matter.
Yes, and so you can learn the basic fundamentals also of Tai Chi in the standing perspective. Yeah.
And I'd say give it a try, and this is now seniors and stuff. If you're doctor, do follow your doctors if they've got you on physical therapy.
Of course.
Do it, but add this as a supplemental thing, and talk to your doctor. Make them in the conversation. Say, hey doc, I've been taking this Tai Chi class. What do you think of that? And they'll probably say that's a great thing. And if they don't know, then you educate them.
And if you have actually never gone onto the internet to just Google Tai Chi for health, or Tai Chi for brain injury, or Tai Chi for osteoporosis, or Tai Chi, whatever, you will be amazed at the Harvard Institute of Science, all these government agencies saying, yep, it is now evidence-based. They finally agree that it's evidence-based, and that's the research and the studies now.
Well, it's all science. You do this, it begets this, and it creates this.
You may get it, kind of, but it is, Tai Chi is based on Chinese medicine.
Absolutely.
And that the acupuncturists have been certified in this country for many years.
That gets me is we'll put more faith in something that was created 10 years ago rather than something that's been proven for thousands of years.
3,000.
And so I will, for people that are skeptical, I'm going to hit you with that logic.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
right. Well, we're really blessed. COVID made a lot of changes, and some of it very painful and difficult. Another thing that has come from COVID is that we're able to use the internet more. We're able to connect with people more, like Zoom. Oh my gosh, I can see my grandchild, and
Sure.
But if you go and research anything on the internet, just put in whatever you're thinking about related to Tai Chi, you'll be just stunned.
Of course, I'll turn you a place to start first is of course Madi's organization, Tai Chi for Health Institute.org.
Yes.
And you can go there. I know that's a lot to say, but if you say Tai Chi for Health Institute, something along those lines, you'll get close enough and on the Google search.
Yeah,
there.
so they're actually founded in Australia, Dr. Lang.
Yeah, that's an international
Yeah, it's
website.
international, and I'm certified internationally, so I need to find some island I need to go to and make a little program start and have a little tax deduction going
Winners
there.
in the Caribbean might not be so bad, right?
That's
right.
Teaching Tai Chi.
Sue's like, I'll be your first patient.
Yes, exactly.
We'll get on the plane and go together. So let me ask you, Sue, where, like, a year ago to now, where are you at in your progress, and how are you feeling, and what's been some of the benefits you've noticed in the time you've been doing it?
Well, my group of people are all getting older.
Yeah, it happens.
I know.
Every time I go to these places, I'm like, man, you're looking older.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't look in the mirror.
But, yeah. So I see that I feel, and I think I look probably not as decrepit as some of them. Not using the word decrepit, but
love it. It's like, I look better than that one. Better than that one.
But it's the way you move and the way you
feel. It sounds
and
like.
I'm amazed.
Like, how's your energy level? Do you have more energy? See, that's the part I think people don't get is
she's got great posture.
Well,
too.
and as we get older, the rest of us, we get tired, we get worn out, and all of a sudden a night on the couch is a good idea. And I'm going to say there's probably, now don't get me wrong, there's a few nights you're like, night on the couch is a good idea.
It's nice.
But I bet there's days you're like, no, let's go out and take a walk, or let's go to the park or something.
Yes, exactly. I would also like to add, Consumer Reports, which my brother was a big proponent of.
My brother, too. Every time I buy a car, he sends me a whole thing about it.
Yes.
That's wrong. Oh, did you know this?
Yeah. But they also put out a bulletin on health.
Okay.
And I get the bulletin on health. I like it. And more often, they're saying when you need to be doing exercises, they're mentioning Tai Chi.
You're seeing it more and more in the Consumer Report stuff.
Just plain, and that's on Consumer Report. Then in the newspaper, every once in a while, you'll see it. Not ours, I'm sorry. But it's around when people say that.
Sure.
I've had my youngest son had I don't know what was he took it. He took a. And it wasn't karate, but it was one of those
another martial arts
thing, and so and when I was telling him, well, Mom, you're not going to try to break bricks with your hand, are you? I said, no, that's not what it is.
It's not this kind of Tai Chi.
Right. Mom's going to sit in a chair and learn how to sit correctly and move my arms and breathe.
Yeah. Then I'm going to start breaking bricks, so watch out.
Right, exactly.
So just don't bring any bricks around. Oh no, I'm 80 years old.
Ah, is that all?
I just turned.
I would have, to be honest, you do not look 80 years old.
Well, thank you.
I would have guessed a lot younger.
Yeah.
I don't guess because I always get in trouble, but I would have guessed younger.
And there's
thank
also
you.
the social aspect. Would you not say that you've made some new friends that are good people?
Yes. We're all sitting around doing these things.
Nice.
I'm watching the standers. They're doing it in my face while I'm sitting there. And I've made a whole new group of people that we're like family.
That's awesome.
We really care about each other.
And again, that better for the overall health. That mental health side. When you're connecting with humans, and especially in common things, and this is all well-rounded overall health. So, so even the ancillary side, and when you're not physically sitting in the chair or standing up doing the movements, you're still benefiting from Tai Chi just from the fact that you're out and about and chatting with people and conversing, and who knows, making friends that you'll carry with you the rest of your life.
That's right.
Right.
It's enabled me to pull the dandelion bushes out of my front yard.
Nice. Stop paying the kid.
Wow.
Well, I had kid, and he just pulled the tops off, so I was
yourself.
Yeah, well, so I'm out there doing that.
Which is now easier for you.
It is.
But,
can I get some information?
yes,
about
let's get
contact
the
stuff?
nuts and bolts, and
Right.
because if you're listening and saying, "Man, I need to try this," here's how you get
It's
into
nice.
the fold.
How do we do
here.
this? Yeah. Well, one thing is that you can actually go to your website, 106.5
Yes.
website, and you can get this video and send it to your aunt.
KSVPTV.com in the mornings and Mike Winter's channel or our Facebook wall. It's all right there.
Right.
Facebook
So there's
wall.
that.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the website and you can see all about this program and other programs that they offer. And there's a whole lot of just free information on there.
Yeah.
The website is Tai Chi, which is T as in Tom, AICHI.
If you spell it wrong on the computer, it'll fix it.
Oh, it'll fix it. That's exactly true. Isn't that? Oh, man, that's how come we're all
Yeah,
such
it'll
bad
tell you, no, do
spellers
you
now.
mean this?
Yeah.
TaiChiForHealth.org. You can email me if you wish, and my email address is healthfirst, that's with a number 1 ST, healthfirst@yahoo.com. And you can call me 575-626-7150.
Yeah.
I am on Facebook, but sometimes I don't always get the messages if we've never messaged and all of that. My
Sure.
name is Marisalina Manchego.
That's why we just call her Marty.
Yeah, he just calls me Madi Manchego. And I also want to mention that I teach in Ruidoso.
Yeah, you have classes there,
Yeah,
too.
I teach at the Soggy Dog Space, right next to this beautiful Soggy Dog groomer. Lovely people. Space is great.
Weather's mostly nice all the time.
Yeah,
yes.
kind of, sort of, but inside it's wonderful. So, in class. But Friday I am also teaching what I'm gearing down into this same kind of class.
Good deal.
And it is Friday from 2 to 3.
So if you got Ruidoso family and friends,
Yeah.
and you tell them about us and then turn them on. So
2
you
to
can see
3.
Marty. You don't have to come down here.
Yeah,
to do
we
it.
have
Yes.
a few people recovering from stroke and finding a lot of
or
strength.
or vice versa. I'm thinking maybe
Right.
you're down here and then you do a week. You're going
Right.
to be up in Ruidoso for the
Right.
week and you
Right.
drop in on a class over
That's
there.
right. Either place, it's you'll
Or
find
vice versa.
you'll
Yeah.
find your way. And I also teach a standing class up there at 10:30 on Mondays.
Very good.
Introduction to Soon Style Tai Chi.
Excellent. So if you're interested, please, you can call 575-626-7150. Again, 575-626-7150. You can also shoot Marty an email, healthfirst, that's health, 1ST, at yahoo.com. Or you can also, check out the website, TaiChiForHealthInstitute.org. But if you want to sign up for these classes and get more information, reach out direct to Marty, 575-626-7150, or send an email, healthfirst, health1st, at yahoo.com.
Right.
And then classes begin here like the first week of June, right?
First week of June,
Yeah.
and
At the Salvation Army. I don't know
at
if we
the
ever mentioned
Salvation
that.
Army on college.
Yeah,
What
West
is it?
College, 612 West College.
That's the one. Yeah. And let's see, what else do I want to say? The very first class, I'm teaching the one movement we call open close that lowers your blood pressure. It releases endorphins. It's a very sweet, calming, very healthful move. So if you come into the class and you think, I don't know if I like this, and I'm not sure if I like this, and you actually take the class and you just hate it, and you don't want to come back, that's fine, of course. But you get to take a tool with you that will help you in many situations, including if you're angry, your family's angry. It really does slow the excited heart rate, blood pressure.
Buy time to let the pot simmer a bit.
Right.
And calm down a
Right.
little bit. Yeah.
That, yeah. Good idea.
Absolutely.
I get all excited, so I don't know how calm I am right now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let the pot cool a bit here before we do it. So, Sue, thank you for joining us here. Anything that you want? Anybody want to say hi to? Anything or anything you wanted to share with us that we just didn't get a chance to talk about? I kind of want to give you an opportunity there.
Okay, well, thank you. I was born and raised in Artesia.
All right.
And
so, are you a closet Bulldogs fan? It's okay. You can tell me. I used to work there.
But I've been to Texas. Spent a lot of time in Texas.
Gotcha.
And so I came back.
Gotcha.
But
She's in New Mexico.
And I'm a New Mexican at heart.
Nice.
And I'm staying here, and all my kids are in Texas.
Nice.
But Mom, you're so far away. It's all right. It's okay.
It's okay, but she gets to see them.
Well, they get to come, and now you get, dare I say, more time with the grandkids now because of Tai Chi and things like that.
Yes.
And more quality time, is for sure.
Yes.
Where you
Yes.
can pick up the kid every once. Well, maybe not till they get big, but when they're
I don't know. That's a lot of kids. Those kids.
Yeah.
May I speak of the money real
Yes,
quick? Because
yes,
people
yes.
may be thinking, how much is this? I don't know if I
Yes,
can afford
please.
this. So when you come to a class, again, at that first class, you hate it, you don't have to pay for it. But the way I set it up for people to make it more affordable is say we have 8 classes scheduled or 8 classes scheduled for the whole month. If you want to take that Wednesday class too, you're welcome to, and you'll be doing it seated. Say you want to take 2 classes a month, and the class, if you just drop in every once in a while, it is $10 a class. If you prepay for the month, so come June 1st, and it's like, well, I'm only going to be in 4 classes this month, you prepay $8 a class.
Nice.
So
Save a
it's
little.
$32 because you know you have a doctor's appointment or you're going out of town or whatever. So you save a few bucks that
Absolutely.
way.
So,
Right.
there's definitely an opportunity there, too.
Right.
But put it this way. Money's not going to be if we'll work that part out. If you want
Right.
to, the point is we want to get you
That's correct.
into these classes and seeing the benefits of what this
Yes.
can do for folks.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And of course, I guess you can, if you want to meet Sue, she's going to be in the stand-up class now. So.
Well, I do both. She'll come over and say, Sue, could you sit today, please?
There you go.
I said, all right. She says, I just want some people sitting.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring her as an example into
Sure.
a big getting class. This is Sue.
Nice.
She started here, but yeah.
And we went to the courthouse one day and did Tai Chi in the grass.
Nice, out on the lawn.
Out on the lawn. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
it was
that grass is
wonderful.
great. Yeah.
You know what? You need to go to. I feel like there's a lot of cool places in Ruidoso, in the pines or in the mountains.
Oh,
there, you
yes.
might want to get you a good spot too, and got
Yeah.
a view. Got a Tai Chi with a view.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very
That's it.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Sue, for coming in. Monty,
Thank
as always,
you.
we
Thank you so
appreciate
much,
the
Mike.
visit, folks. If you really, I'm telling you this. This is one of those things that yes, we advertise it to solve this thing, but it solves a lot of answers. If you're having
Yeah.
life issues,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a stab. Tai Chi will find a way to help you navigate it in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And so
Yes.
I'm all
that's
for
why I
it.
say I know we are focusing on fall prevention and for seniors and all that.
Right.
But if you're 22, I don't care.
Oh,
Get in there
yeah,
and take
I
the
have
class.
all kinds of ages.
Yeah, if you're
all
young
kinds
and
of ages.
indestructible,
Mhm,
get in
mhm.
there, do it too. You will find
mhm.
so many benefits.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
for
See if you
fitting
can
us
outdo
in.
Phil in the things. Phil might get jealous. We got to be
Oh,
careful. but
yeah, I know. He told me, he
He's
said,
ready.
you're
He's
going to
ready.
like
And
it.
he was grinning. It's like he could step in any minute.
he's like, Sue, you sure you don't want to go? You little cough,
Yeah,
I got this.
I got
No,
this too.
it's the getting up at when the sun just is getting up.
I keep trying to tell them, can I start the morning show at noon? But they are not letting
They
it
don't
happen.
like
So
that.
they do not let it happen.
Well, I have to tell you, sitting waiting outside this morning. Didn't I tell you?
The show's still on.
Oh,
I
wait,
can-
is it?
yeah, we're still going.
She said, I said, I'm going to have to get up early because it's just gorgeous early in the morning.
This time of year, really.
It
is.
is, yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, ladies.
All
We'll
righty.
see you next.
See you
and
next time.
Happy Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy
That's
the
correct.
3-day weekend.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, 7:57. Let's pause for news before more news. Don't go.
The contract is with Advance Air right now, but that ends by the end of this year. Advance was chosen in 2023 for an $11 million two-year contract. But now Boutique Air, which lost the bid 2 years ago, is proposing flights between Carlsbad and Dallas instead of Phoenix. One of the other airlines that is bidding is Contour. SkyWest is the third. Fire crews busy over the holiday weekend with a big wildfire at Fort Stanton that spread to 350 acres. The campfire, it began Sunday. It's been raging on Bonito Loop and Black Pershing Road on land managed by the U.S. Bureau of Land Management and the state of New Mexico. That's according to the New Mexico Forestry Division. 6 large air tankers have been put into service, along with 2 single-engine tankers and multiple ground crews. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
But now likely voters from both sides of the aisle say that AOC is the new face of the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders, Grandpa Bernie, comes in second, and Jasmine Crockett comes in third. This was in the Olympian. A plurality of Americans consider AOC to be the new face of the party. Anyway, the coefficient survey, 26% of respondents named AOC. It went on to then give Grandpa Bernie 12%. Jasmine Crockett placed third with 8%. Kamala Harris only garnered 6%. Pothole Pete, 5%, tying Hakeem Jeffries. Then following that was Senator Cory Booker and Gavin Newsom at 2% each. Told Gavin, good luck with that. He's got something called a track record.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, you exhausted every day? Maybe you have the 3 p.m. crash or struggling with memory issues, having a hard time focusing. You have to stop and pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. I never run out of energy, and I'm fully focused. Strong Cell. It's a revolutionary supplement that has truly changed my life. I use it every single day. It gives you natural energy, helps me stay focused all day long, and just makes me feel better overall. Whether you're a working mom or dad or homeschooling your kids or some of our loyal men and women behind the wheel across the country, try Strong Cell. It'll change your life. Linda uses it as well.
I use it every single day. I have my kids using it, my parents using it, my in-laws using it, my friends using it, and I am telling you, it is immediate. It is one of the only ways you can get NADH on the market, and it works.
Go to HannityStrong.com. Use the promo code Hannity. You get a special 20% off any order. Once again, HannityStrong.com. And Strong Cell believes in their products so much, you get a 60-day no-risk policy. Invest in your health. I did it. It changed my life.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. We got All-Star Baseball coming up at the end of this week for Class 1A through 3A. And yes, NMMI is well representative. You might remember from just a week ago that the Colts won the Class 3A title, and their coach, Brad Blackwell, is going to be the coach for the green team. But he's got some players on there, too. You have to be a senior to be in this event. And Tegan Maloney from NMMI is a pitcher on the red team. Ironically, Brad Blackwell is not coaching any of his own players. Javier Yepes from NMMI is also an infielder on the red team, and Noah Martinez from the Colts, an infielder also on the red team. They'll check in Friday at Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho at 1:30, and then they're going to play game 1 at 6 o'clock. We've got a doubleheader set for Saturday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A few clouds today, but some sunshine as well. We still have a low-pressure system and stationary front off to our east, so we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. We'll be in the mid-80s today. Maybe a shower overnight, low 60s, and then a little bit better chance of rain on Wednesdays. Scattered showers, afternoon thunderstorms, and a mix of sun and clouds with mid-80s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Coming off the long holiday weekend, Wall Street has been flying high. The market given a boost by the weekend trade truce between the U.S. and the European Union. Negotiations are continuing following President Trump's threat to impose 50% tariffs on imports from the EU. Tesla's sales in Europe plunged for the fourth straight month, even as growth in the electric car market picked up. Despite the grim sales figures, Tesla shares up 2.1% early today. Southwest Airlines rose close to 3% pre-market. The carrier is preparing to implement a new policy that will charge most travelers for checked bags. The change reverses a long-standing, heavily advertised policy by Southwest and takes effect tomorrow. The struggling airline has come under pressure from activist investors to boost profits and revenue. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
When managing a chronic illness, access to the right treatments makes all the difference. Artesia General Hospital's Infusion Center provides IV therapy and biologic treatments, so you don't have to travel far for care. Expert infusion therapy right here in Artesia. Call 575-736-8256 today to learn more.
Registration is now open for the fall semester at Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Classes will fill up fast, so don't wait. Sign up early to create a schedule that works best for you. New students are encouraged to sign up now. Advisors are ready to help you kickstart your path to academic success. Start today. Visit roswell.enmu.edu or call 575-624-7000. ENMUR. Success starts here.
Success starts here. ENMU Roswell.
Join Hot New Country 92.9 The Brand and La Pantera 106.1 FM for a special live broadcast this Saturday from 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda. The summer of fun is underway, and Roswell Honda has a great selection of vehicles marked way down to take your summer adventures to a whole new level. And with scorching rebates, incentives, and discounts, now is the best time to trade up and save. We'll be on hand from 10 to 1 with free hot dogs and ice-cold Pepsi products, too. See you Saturday, 10 to 1 for the summer of fun at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Are your kids riding safely? Did you know 3 out of 4 car seats are used incorrectly? Car seat inspection events happen all around New Mexico, free of charge by the NMDOT Traffic Safety Division. Certified child passenger safety technicians give parents and caregivers personal instruction on installation and use of your car seat. Make sure your kids are safe passengers. Go to safernm.org to find an event near you. Brought to you by this station and the NMBA.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. Closing in on 10 o'clock. I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you who stuck it out with me here on this Tuesday morning. Mixmaster Mike back inside your radios tomorrow morning. If you missed any portion of the program, you can check it out in its entirety at ksvptv.com. Or check it out on Facebook. Just head for Facebook and search for 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Clay Travis, Buck Sexton up next. We'll be back inside your radios tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Be safe out there and be good to each other.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio. KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump expects the Senate to make several changes to the massive tax and spend bill passed by the House last week. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports.
Over the holiday weekend, House Speaker Mike Johnson cautioned senators not to meddle with the bill too much, given how difficult it was to get the measure approved. But the president made this prediction.
I think they're going to have changes. Some will be minor and some will be, fairly significant.
There are several Senate Republicans who want to see deeper spending cuts and a bill that doesn't blow up the deficit. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, 3 more of the 10 inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail early this month have now been taken back into custody in 2 different states.
One of the men was arrested in Baton Rouge by local police, while 2 others were arrested in Walker County, Texas. That's according to a social media post from Louisiana State Police. 2 more inmates remain on the lam. Authorities have been scouring New Orleans for the men after they escaped in a May 16 jailbreak.
That's correspondent Haya Panjwani. Americans' view of the economy improved in May after 5 straight months of declines and consumer confidence to its lowest level since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Conference Board said its consumer confidence index rose 12.3 points in May to 98, up from April's 85.7, its lowest reading since May of 2020. It's the last day to book a flight on Southwest Airlines without being hit with a fee to check bags after the airline abandoned a decades-long luggage policy. Southwest Airlines will start charging many of its customers a fee to check bags beginning on Wednesday. The airline announced